Excited. The start of the week. We have possibly great matches coming through. Obviously, a name that it's going to be quite difficult to name whenever we go into the game because it's I don't know. So hopefully we don't get any mix-ups. But I'm excited for what today will bring, and hopefully for picks that are going to be really exciting and not just a typical meta. There's slight hiccups unluckily, but it's always in production. It always happens, so it's going to bring out the best later on. But with that in mind, with the bans starting, a lot of bans towards interesting champions that we don't typically get to see, but I like that we're seeing them ban away because they can be really specific to certain players. Particularly the Fiddlesticks, the Karthus, and the Yasuo are champions that are not typically what we end up seeing played in the meta, but can find a lot of value if you can play them according to what their capabilities are. The Rel one though is one that I'm really interested in because with her recent changes, she became more playable, but it's still in a spot where I'm not sure where I'll put Rel because I feel like she has really great spots. But I'm not sure how great are those spots compared to just other tank supports that can engage. It's really weird with her still. So hopefully we get a chance in the future to see how strong she can be. But Rakan, a pretty consistent mainstay in the meta, is going to be picked now. Okay, it's no problem. We're just continue with the Saya takeaway here on the red side. So taking away the really good pairing from the Rakan. Obviously, Saya can find a lot of value with certain sports. I think Millia, for example, is one that is still really strong in the current meta. Not necessarily to the extent that he was before, but right now it's pretty good with a lot of the AD carries, and Saya can find a lot of value with that. If still you want to play for a bit more safety with the self build that the Saya provides, there can always be the tank supports to just follow up on the rest of the team. I think Nautilus, Leona are still perfectly viable to go through here because Saya can just by herself survive in a really effective manner.
Hmm.
Maokai is a really interesting one as well because I think that people are realizing once again that Maokai is still strong. It's just that people kind of lost the flavor with him, but realistically, the champion is still really, really good if you just go tank.
Yeah, I figured it out. It's better when you do select an audio input source on VDO. So works a little
Works
bit better that way.
perfectly.
Yeah, no, like you said, the Maokai, I've seen a lot of it in all different levels of play, and I'm excited to see it because there's a lot of different ways you can play Maokai too. There's the tank,
Exactly.
there's the supportive style, there's just getting a little bit more AP to try and poke people out before fights. He's a really flexible champ in ways that you wouldn't expect, and I love seeing them take away the Zaya as well, seeing that Rakan first pick.
Exactly. It's a really good takeaway. And with the Maokai just talking a little bit extra with the champion, it just feels like, and it happens typically with a lot of players, right? Or in all levels of play, where it's not like the champion in itself became way worse, but the more you play a champion, the more tired you get with it, and it's understandable. Like you don't like to keep on doing the same thing always. It can get boring repeating it always. So whenever a small nerf comes through, I think that that's a perfect opportunity for a lot of people to just throw away the champion for a bit. But then they remember, oh, the champion is still great. We can actually keep on playing it, and that's why Maokai is resurfacing once again. I think that it happens oftentimes with champions like Ezreal, like Oriana, obviously most famously Assyrian Corki that get rinsed and repeat at some point in the meta. So it just feels like it's just people tiring out with a certain champion and then coming back to it. But like we were talking with the Israel, picked on one side, paired with the Rakan, which is a really weird pairing. And then on the other side, the Thresh, also not the most typical to see the Saya Thresh, but does provide a lot of playmaking potential with the champion.
Yeah, exactly. You get the opportunity to get Zaya out of situations that aren't ideal. I think a great example is if you are going up against a Jarvan, Thresh Lantern is the one way Zaya can actually get out of that cataclysm. The Ezreal Rakan is also interesting because it's a lot of mobility. When you think of
Yep.
Rakan, you think of him being able to dash back to somebody, but when that person can also shift away as well, it just gives you, you can jump back to Ezreal, he could shift back, and you could jump back again. There's a lot of extra mobility that Rakan gets from that. We'll see if that's going to actually play out as expected. The Gragas lock-in does also give a little bit of. I'm curious where that's going to end up. Gragas did get nerfed recently in the laning aspects due to his
Finally.
passive. Yeah. And we'll see if that's going to actually have an effect or if that's going to be a jungle Gragas. Things are still a little up in the air. So we do go through the second bans here. Ornn Ari taken away by I don't know, Mint Gaming taken away the Galio, and we're currently waiting on their second ban.
Looking at the two bans that, or the three bans that are already coming through, a lot of the solo laners, obviously you kind of expect these champions to go into their specific spots and then closing it out with an Ilaoi. So one mid laner and one top laner, kind of respectively a piece for each side. And now they will have the opportunity to try and go for something that can be strong for them. But I would expect to see a consistent blind pick coming through here, either an Annie to have the really consistent mid lane mates that a lot of people like to play. Annie or Syndra particularly are two that I'm most looking out for. And then in the top lane, if you're going to go safe, a tank is almost always going to deliver. Malphite, really easy to pull up. But with the amount of mobility that there is on the side of MYNT Gaming, wouldn't be surprised if it's not that particularly. And it's instead the Renekton. So blinding the top lane pick, I'm not the biggest fan of the Renekton blind pick, but at the same time, I understand why a lot of people do like to play it, so not going to go against this particular champion here. And the point and click stun does work out really well, especially to lock down champions like the Ezreal that do have a lot of ability.
Yeah, but there's a little bit of a nasty hover for the Renekton, and that's gonna get locked in. The Malphite going to just be a beefcake for this Renekton up on the top side. It's all in early or nothing here. And this Renekton is going to have a fight if he does not start popping off early.
It's going to be a bit difficult. I do expect to see quite a bit of early attention towards the top side. And luckily, there's mixed damage. So you're not going to depend wholly on the Renekton being able to deal the damage or waiting so that the Malphite doesn't stack the armor. But it's going to be difficult if the Renekton doesn't find that advantage. And then the Anivia to close it out. So quite a bit of a scaling composition coming in from the side of MYNT Gaming, playing around the post 15 to 25-minute mark, trying to get towards that 30-minute mark where they just are going to have a lot of damage ramping up for the late game. And then potentially the Azir, we were talking about the champion, has resurfaced quite a bit, is in a quite consistent spot, and does have a lot of value thanks to his Shurima, to his Emperor's Divide to try and push away people. Doesn't work with the Malphite ultimate though, so he has to be extra careful about that.
Yeah. Well, I do kind of want to see exactly how that laning phase is going to work out, because right now I'm looking at I don't know's team, and it's like all in on that early game. You have the Maokai ganks, you have the Renekton, obviously, but Thresh Xayah is a really solid lane for aggression. Azir, not exactly known for his laning prowess to a degree, but it's definitely miles ahead of what Anivia's is pre-6. So I don't know, have capabilities to really pop off early on. It's a question of, are they going to be able to do it?
Yeah, pretty much is how are you going to be able to find the leads to try and just make it so that you can snowball really effectively early on. And sometimes you would argue that because you have champions like the Azir or the Xayah, you can get towards the later stage of the game. And that's technically true to a certain degree, right? But like you're pointing out, the fact that they have the Renekton, the Thresh, and the Maokai really makes it so that you have to try and rush that spike as much as possible. Because when you consider their counterparts, that's where it becomes a bit more difficult for IDK. Now, I do think that, and you were pointing it out really nicely with the Sayama Thresh having the advantage of the push, Renekton and Azir will have something similar, right? So this can open up a bit of space for the Maokai to maybe try and find room to not only go inside of the jungle, but find places to get leads, get control over objectives. Objectives still super valuable. So if Maokai can get that sort of advantage really early on and keep on giving to the laners through their just innate pushing power, I think there's opportunities for IDK. But they do have a timer, which is the difficult part here.
Definitely. And it is weird because you look at a team with Xayah and Azir and you don't think like that's a team that has to win early. You think that's a team that's going to scale decently, but it's just like, yeah, you have Malphite, you have Anivia, you have Ezreal. These are all hyper scaling champions that are just going to be really difficult. And when you add in the fact that Renekton is up on that top side, it really does just put a lot of pressure on, I don't know, to make something happen somewhere. I am very concerned about this Renekton because Malphite very quickly does get to a point where Renekton's not going to do anything. You have a Gragas who can gank as well. There's enough damage between the two of them post 6 to get a kill on Renekton. It's not really looking too great here. I would love to be proven wrong though, because I do want to see something crazy out of a Renekton in this game.
Well, we'll be hypey, right? And to put at least a bit of not positivity, because it's not really that I want to have anything or anything like that, but Renekton does have an immobile carry that he can try and lock down in the form of the Anivia, right? If he can reach the Anivia, you point and click, kill her. It's not that difficult with her. Ezreal, bit more difficult because he does have self-peeling tools. But if you get the point inflict CC, it should be feasible for him to get on top of the Ezreal as well. The issue is him getting on top of the two carries and getting the opportunity to kill people. And I
Hmm.
think I was also going thinking about with the Renection and the composition with IDK, that one good thing that they do have, and it's something that I feel like a lot of teams do value a lot, it's the onus of making the plays happen. Like I feel Mint has a
Hmm.
composition that even though it has a Malphite, can be a bit more reactive to how they play around the game, and it should benefit them because they do have an Ezreal and an Anivia scaling. But
Yeah.
IDK has a much more proactive kind of comp that wants to look for the plays, wants to look for the action, wants to make things happen themselves. And I feel like teams do like to go for this sort of style a bit more. So maybe this makes it a bit easier for them to try and force things to happen. And if they win the 50-50s, the 60-40s, then they can try and snowball to that.
Yeah, it is just going to be really difficult. Mint Gaming, they can kite back with the Ezreal. They have the
Yep.
Anivia ult. Thresh and Renekton and Maokai aren't going to be able to do a whole lot about. It's all about the zoning potential that Mint Gaming have. The Gragas disengage is also really solid. So Mint Gaming have the tools. They just got to be able to make that work out for themselves. And it also means they have to not lose out in this laning phase. For what it
Yeah.
is worth, there it is going to be expected that Mint Gaming come out of the laning phase with a decent gold deficit. They just have to be able to utilize their composition a little bit better.
Yeah, the deficit is always, I think the margin for the deficit that you're fine with taking in this sort of comps, it's, I think, around the 2,000 to 4,000 gold mark. That's kind of the best deficit to try and have leaving laning phase because it's the much reachable or closable gold deficit that you can work with, and that way you can reach the late game really effectively. That's where IDK, I expect them to try and get as much as possible through their laning phase and try and get any sort of really big lead that they can find. I think heralds are going to be much more important, and it's something actually funny that I try to focus with this sort of comps because I feel like a lot of people typically try and focus for the dragons. Understandably, soul can be really important. But I feel like with this sort of comps that want to get a snowball, the priority should almost always be on the herald and the early herald fights. If you're able to force teams or force fights around the herald and win them, are going to be really important for your team comp. And then if you get the herald, it's a huge gold influx that will keep on spiraling. So I feel like heralds are going to be much more pivotal for IDK this game.
Absolutely. But with that, we're going to take a quick break as we wait out the rest of the spectator delay. We'll be right back for our first game of the night with Mint Academy taking on I Don't Know. We'll see who's going to draw first blood in this series right after this. And welcome back, everybody. We are into game one. Mint Gaming on the blue side. I don't know on the red side. You can see, I don't know, already stacking up, looking for some shenanigans. Level one, pretty solid, at least for the crowd control aspect. Damage, a little bit less lacking, or a little bit more lacking, rather. And we're looking like we're just going to get a 5-point start.
Sadly, I like the idea. I enjoy when I see teams going for the aggressive play with the hook champions. Almost always it's the hook champions, but it's always great to see it. If it works out, it's great. If it doesn't, well, at least there was the attempt. And at the end, it's just going to be a bit of vision changed on each side, although denying a bit from the blue side, I think quite good for IDK to start off.
Absolutely. As we do continue on, we're just going to see a little bit of fiddling around. Why is it not getting our voices again?
Oh, and it's both this time?
Never mind.
Oh.
Oh, tonight's been a night. I apologize. So we are just going to see red starts across the board. Red start for bot side starts, rather, across the board.
Interesting that both sides starting over on the bot side. I think it's understandable for Mainlard or the Maokai to start bot side so that you can try and impact your Renection as soon as possible. Like the only other nice hook. The only other condition there would be if you want to go for the cheesy level 2 where you start a red buff and then go gank top lane immediately. But this is kind of the most consistent one to try and get there by level 3. But the Gragas is the one that I'm more surprised. I would expect you want to try and provide for your lanes over on the bot side that can be a bit more pushed and risky.
Yeah, I'm almost wondering if this is just a counter gank angle. If you're looking at this saying, I'm really worried about the fact that there's going to be a gank up on that top side. Good knock up here from Buzz Lightyear.
It's a really good one to keep on getting damage, although I have to say already Helasso with 2 really good hooks to get as much harass as possible on the Ezreal.
Yeah, right now it is just pair for pair right now. And yeah, we have seen Helasso get a lot of really good hooks, which you don't expect when you're going up against an Ezreal. It's always, I think, a pleasant surprise as the Thresh when you start landing hooks against an Ezreal. And it's giving them a lot of lane presence right now. Shik's also on the top side, putting a lot of work into this Malphite. Doesn't seem like there's going to be any ganking happening around on that top side.
At this point, it feels really difficult. It has to be. It feels like it has to be the Gragas just because of where the wave is currently positioned. But already Shix is kind of pushing away, ready for anything that can go wrong, and just allowing for the wave to push back and playing around with the Maokai coming through. Now, the Scarlet Crab, I don't think it's going to be able to be contested by the Gragas on the top side because there's two lanes being pushed, so it's really difficult for you to actually be able to contest it. Ooh.
Yeah. Shix is doing a really good job here, just the constant trading. Maokai is up on this top side as well, so there's not really any risk. Shix knows he can play with impunity here. As bot side, Gragas is just going to start to invade a little bit on that bottom side. Rakan, they're going to push off the Thresh and take that Scuttle Crab for themselves. Both junglers going to be even so far.
Even though it doesn't turn into a Skullcrop steal from the Gragas or anything like that, I do like the movement that Helazo was pulling there because with the top side getting collected by the Maokai, he was trying to make sure that there was an opportunity for the Maokai to also get the bot side one. But really well played there by Hellbear and also Buzzlead providing the covering because it could have been really detrimental for the Gragas to start off like that.
Absolutely. Maokai spotted out by a ward. So, not going to be looking for a bot lane gank here. It's just going to be a back away. Buzz Lightyear and Amox are going to get a safe back. And with that tier start, Ezreal definitely wanted to get back, get that sheen, get started on that Trinity Force. Start to be a little bit more of a presence in lane.
And Trinity Force has taken so much of a priority now for so many champions down there in the bot lane. I remember when it was just the Essence River Ezreal and everyone was just rushing it consistently. But now with Trinity Force Rise, it's nice to see the variation that comes with it.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely interesting. A lot of the champs going for that Triforce. I think a lot of people realizing just how strong that item really is. It takes a little bit to get fully completed, but when you do, it is a very large spike. Shix after the back, Kindle Gem bought, ready to continue going toe to toe, but the double cloth armor from House of Roll will definitely change
Oh,
things around. Alt in, just taking this Renekton down really low, and that's just after coming back. Shix already down to about a third HP.
not gonna lie, respect the aggressiveness there. Going as hard as possible to try and get the wave push and then going to instantaneously back. It's important to notice that the Renekton didn't teleport back. So this is kind of an opportunity to get the back for the Malphite and come back even stronger. So he gets another cloth armor and a chain vest. So adding on top of that the armor to deny this Renekton as much as possible.
It's definitely going to
Oh,
hold him back. Ultimate in the mid lane. Kermit pushing in the Anivia. Squidamon going to have to back off with the flash over the wall. No proc on the Anivia passive, but one summoner spell down.
really good play there by Kermit to force the flash out of the Anivia, to force the Anivia into such a bad spot. I think kind of unlucky though that the angle that he got was just a little bit over on the edge, so it doesn't fully makes the Anivia be closer to the turret. It's more open so that she can escape, but it's still a flash down for the Anivia and no teleport for her as well.
Yeah, you can already see just how much this Renekton is struggling against the Malphite. It is so difficult to try and go deep into the Malphite and try to trade with him because he's stacking up the armor. He's got the W max. Shix is honestly in trouble here.
He had to flash. That is a difficult situation to be in the top lane, and it's not like we have seen any sort of support from the junglers up there. Oh, Lasso.
Lantern, Halasso, dash away, but that's how slippery these champions are. It's so difficult. Buzz Lightyear able to just dash away, Amok shifting away. It's really unlikely that you're going to hit a hook on one of these champs at least at this point in the game.
It's really difficult to be able to pull it off, and even if you get it, it's kind of not that easy to get the kill either. And the Gragas was also waiting on the side to go for it. This is kind of the main play that they can go for, because at this point in the game there's no kill that they can try and collect. So getting this objective, it's probably the most ideal part, but it feels like trying to get what's left, not necessarily being able. Oh
Oh
wait, engage,
no,
that's
yeah.
first blood.
Yep. Malphite just ult in, take him out, get the kill, get the money, and that's basically top lane over. And we said, I don't know, need to be on top of their game in the early game. Falling behind, giving first blood is not where this composition needs to be.
And the worst part is that you can be behind in certain places in the map. It's fine if it's bot lane, it's fine to a certain degree if it's the mid lane. But if it's your top laner, the one that you blind pick and also expected to try and get an advantage with at this point in the game, it's really not the best. Already completed another armor item plus the Sheen. So this Renekton is going to suffer even more. And a really difficult start over for the side of IEK.
Yeah. I don't know, need to figure out what they're going to do from this point on because obviously they cannot play through their top lane anymore. That is a ship that has long since sailed, but we haven't seen any action in any of the other lanes either. The closest that we've had is that flash burn from Squidamon from Kermit ulting under the tower. And we're going to see a little bit of an engage. Xayah ult going to be used, and that is one defensive tool down.
But that was without using ultimate on Buzz Lightyear. That
Yeah.
means that now there's an opportunity for a repeat engage with ultimate, no cleanse on the Saya, can be the opportunity to try and get a kill. If the Gragas was close by, that could probably be the case. But in the meanwhile, he's collecting the Herald for free. With the control that he has over on the top side, it's so easy for this Gragas to get so much up there.
Look at that.
Why?
Engage.
This is why I'm always scared with it.
Now into Squidamon, who does still have passive. Ignite is burning. Zero is going to miss, but it's still going to be the Anivia going into the passive, and nobody is around to save her. Who are they going to give the kill to? It should be going to Azir. Doesn't have a soldier, but will get it now, and that's Kermit picking up the first kill for I don't know.
And with no flash, it was a really good execution. Even with the ultimate failing, it's still fine because the Anivia is very slow and cannot escape. Like the play, how it works out, trying to get gold back salvages the situation. So even though they're still behind, they're at least finding some value in some place. And looking at the CS deficit, that's one of the main places that maybe you can keep trying to put pressure on. because right now, oh wait,
Oh
not
yeah, they're just
again.
gonna go under the tower. There's nothing you can do. Renekton does no damage. Renekton can't take damage, and Malphite's just gonna go deep under tower. They get the kill. They're using the Rift Herald as well. This could just be first tower if they really
I
want
think
to
it is.
push it.
I think it is right now. Malphite has leveled up the W, so he
Yeah.
actually deals quite a lot of damage with his auto attacks plus the Sheen. It's first turret blood at 10 minutes for the top lane, but not Renekton. It's Malphite that gets the gold, and this is scary. Well, I'll try and be on the other side of the coin this time and say at least the one that is getting the gold on the side of IDK, it's the magic damage dealer. That means that Malphite is not itemizing yet for him. So you can
Mm-hmm.
try and go over him if there's ever a fight. But the rest of the members are kind of screwed.
I mean, it's also just difficult too because Malphite is just gonna go in on that team, and if you just get Malphite ulted, I don't know if Azir is really gonna have a whole lot to say.
It's you have to believe in the Birdman. It's the only thing right now that it's holding IBK, I think. That and the dragon. So they do have the first dragon. So if they stack dragons, maybe that's another win con that they can play with.
Possibly, as we do see just a little bit of pressure in both the mid and the bottom lane. Dragon gonna be up in a minute here. Gonna be our next big objective. And with these teleports unleashed and top lane tower down, this gives an opportunity for Malphite to get in this fight. Hello, so also getting a little bit into this fight. Probably didn't want to. Hello Bear is gonna pick up that kill. And trade Hello for Hello as they are gonna go now back to the bot lane. And once again, it's just going to be pressure. They can shove this bot lane in now. No Thresh to keep them away from the tower. And that's going to open up Dragon for them.
I would have liked to see the kill be gifted to the Ezreal just because he's reaching close to that Trinity Force, but he should be able to get it in his next pack. Oh, Meme Lord. Okay, it's fine. Nothing much happening here. But they are getting control over the bot side. And with that kill, now it's really easy for them to try and put not only pressure, but try and get control for this dragon spawning in 20 seconds.
As we do see now, just a little bit of finagling over around the Dragon Pit. We're seeing a little bit of saplings thrown down as well. You can see it is going to be that demonic embrace on the Maokai, which does make those saplings a little bit scarier here. Meme Lord also maybe looking to go in, but not going to hit the W just yet. Buzz Lightyear has to back away using the W. TP already burned. This is the Anivia, not the Malphite. So they still do not have the easy engage potential.
Azura is just running down to the bot side. He wants to join the fight, but he doesn't want to teleport in. And this is going to be a fight before. Renekton doesn't have teleport at all. So if there's a fight, it's numbers advantage for the side of MYNT.
Yeah, it's going to be just an easy dragon. Renekton can't go down. It's not that big a deal. You lose out on one dragon, but Malphite is coming in.
Sure about that?
That is going to be a dead Xayah. Nope, going to get the Lantern
Really?
out. Still has the Xayah ultimate as well. Buzz Lightyear going to get pulled in under the tower. Has to be very careful. Not going to be careful enough, and will go down immediately thanks to the burst. There's Nature's Grasp going to get in a little bit for the Malphite, but Malphite just gonna get rooted under the tower, hooked back further away, and Shutdown is gonna go over to the Maokai. A win overall for I don't know, but it's still leaving them a little bit behind.
It's not enough gold just yet to really make a case. Oh, good flash from the Xayah there. Hello Bear.
Ooh,
Should
not
be fine.
gonna hit the hook. Hello Bear whiffs on the cask, and Haphazardous has to back away just due to the health. Halasso will survive. Meme Lord also not worried about that tower at all. Another kill going. I don't know, have finally started to hit their stride a little bit.
Yeah, they're finding a lot of value with this picks. 2 really good kills, plus a shutdown on the Malphite and the free gold that the Renekton was able to get on the top side. We'll say though, that cast really was the difference between a kill and not getting anyone there. I don't think also here should be able to get any kill. It's a Malphite, but wait, Meme Lord actually is taking a lot of damage.
Yeah, Meme Lord gonna flash over the wall and stay alive. Just gonna be a little bit of holding off it again. Renekton is trying so hard right now.
He's slowly but surely getting there. He needs to get his first item, and then maybe he will find value. But at least he's trying to put pressure on the side. So he's at least trying to do something for the team. He did take out the health of the turret as well, so positive points.
Yeah, with the Chemtech Dragon being our soul, we're gonna see a little bit more of our plants get a little bit freaky. Ward's gonna die very fast. The blast cones, which I've seen some very funny plays with these larger blast cones. I want to see. I what I really want to see is Thresh get a blast cone over into a hook. I don't think that's really
Is
gonna
that
happen.
possible?
Oh yeah, you could just show up out of nowhere and just hook people. It is a little bit crazy. Buzz Lightyear will not get hit by the hook, but he's gonna get poked off of this ward and just dash away to Hello Bear.
And not taking much risk. They do have numbers disadvantage here, so probably don't want to force any sort of fight. Hook.
Ooh, nice hook on Buzz Lightyear, who's just going to go down immediately. Hello Bear, not long for this world either. Nature's Grasp not going to hit. The dash is just enough to get out of the range. But it is another win for I Don't Know, who have been grouping up, just keeping pressure on, and it's getting them at least a little back into this game.
They opted for a really smart approach, which was numbers can make the difference. And so far, it's been working really well for them. They've taken the fight onto the weaker members, namely so the ones that don't really have the huge lead thanks to their advantage in the top lane, so they can take the fights onto them, and that can turn now into some objectives. If they take this herald and take down the mid lane turret, I think that opens up a bit of the space of the map so that they can find picks like they've been doing and get even more important objectives later on. But this has been the best opportunity they've had to try and get the gold lead back into their favor.
Yeah. So far, it's worked out pretty well. Azir 2-0 with that Leandry's finish. So at least a little bit of damage. Going to be getting onto this Malphite. They're just going to go in on Renekton. No, Shakes is in trouble. We'll get the stun, trying to stay up. The Kuldameek going to get a little bit of health back. And he will survive. So time a little bit wasted here. As everything burned and Shakes still able to stay alive.
This time he doesn't die. I take that as a personal victory for Shakes. It's the most important part. You didn't die after all that. Good job.
Shakes patting himself on the back for that one. I also do like the rush of the Black Cleaver here, just recognizing you're not going to be the carry. You're not going to be strong in this game. Your goal is to just get as much support to your carries as possible, especially this Saya, who still has an opportunity to do her thing.
Exactly. Make it so that everyone in your team can have a fun time, even if you're not having a fun time. Because if you win at the end, it doesn't really matter. You will have fun.
Alice is going to poke in just a little bit on the Thresh. Meeblord getting pinged away as there's a big three-man squad coming his way. Kermit also up on this top side, just keeping pressure on Anivia, who just can't really go toe-to-toe anymore with Azir. Dragon is available, and it is teleports for both mid laners who are on the top side. Early TP from Azir, trying to get ready for the fight that is coming in as the Lantern. Meme Lord doesn't need a Lantern.
Yeah, he can just come in, but everyone now is here. Anivia teleports in as well, and now every ulti up. I was waiting to see if the Malphite ultimate cooldown was coming up. Now it's up.
Stun hit. Oh. That hook going deep onto Ezreal, but Halasso going way too in. Ultimate does not hit a lot on the Malphite. And that is going to be a dead Malphite immediately. It is 2 for 1, though. Even though it is just the Malphite going down, Shix and Halasso also going down in the process. And that is going to mean that it is MYNT that are going to pick up the Dragon here, barring some shenanigans, maybe looking for a fight as people are going to push in. They do not have the Maokai ult. They can't go in. Hello Bear's going to get the belly bot. Meme Lord's just walking in. He's going to take the Baron from under their noses. And Saya is ripping through the team. Squid going to go into the Anivia passive box, backing away. There's nothing left for him to do. He just has to watch his team die. Double kill going to Haphazardous. And a big swing for I Don't Know.
Huge fight for them. This Azir is massive, doing as much damage as he wants. The Saya as well doing a really good job. But this is the thing. The fact of the matter right now is that even though the side of MYNT is scaling and has good champions scaling, the Malphite is the main carry right now because he's the one that is ahead. The other parts are either equal or behind their counterparts. So it's not like they can output more damage than them. I like the initial fight that they got, and if they secure the dragon without any casualties, that was going to be a big victory. But even if they didn't get it and nobody else died, that was still fine enough because they don't need the third dragon of the game. But now with this loss that they just got, 2,000 gold advantage for IDK finally getting the grasp over of the lead in the game, and also their carry is going to be massive.
Yeah, it is, like you said, just all on this Malphite, who didn't really do a whole lot in that fight.
He
Down,
died.
went down immediately, and is just back to split push duty here. Granted, Renekton is not going to stop Malphite from taking towers at any point, so there is at least that opportunity, but you don't pick Malphite to be a split pusher.
Exactly. You pick him to win fights, and that didn't work out that great. Kermit hits a third shot there, but I don't expect anything. Oh, wait, actually,
Amox just going to go in, or is it going to be Halasso going in a little
Lasso.
bit too deep? Hits the hook while he dies, but it's still a death nonetheless. TP coming
Wait,
in.
Kermit?
They're just going to go in onto Azir. Kermit going to use the Azir ult for a little bit of extra time.
Azir's
Flash
dead.
follow. Malphite just trying to tank a budge, but nobody's following up just yet. As there is the Xayah ult to get by a little bit more time, and Haphazardous picks up the Malphite once again. And it's 2 for 2. I don't know. Still pretty happy with that trade.
2 for 2. I actually think it's a better trade for the side of MYNT, particularly for the shutdown onto the Seer. Seer is the main one that has the gold, so getting that shutdown out of them, yes, you may have lost 2 members. I think it's still worth enough for MYNT. But certainly, the more kills you get as the side of IDK, can allow for you to get even a better lead later on. Right now, the lead is still close to 1,000 gold, so it's not that detrimental. But these fights are becoming closer and closer, and it's really chaotic how they are facing them.
Yeah, it was money that went to the Malphite as well, which is why you're now starting to
Oh.
see a little bit of the magic resist start to get built up here. Malphite trying to make sure he can do his job as a tank, even in the face of something like the Azir. But it's still like all this money is just onto the Malphite. It is 9,000 gold for the Malphite, 6,500 gold for the Renekton. But compare that to the solo lanes right now. You see Anivia sitting on 6,500 as well. That's not where you want your money. You want to swap that.
You would love to have one less item on the Malphite and one more on the Anivia. That would make the difference in a lot of these fights. And not only the items as well, they are important, but the level deficit as well. AD carry and mid are both ahead of their counterparts on the side of IDK. Oh,
Whoa, Shix. Yeah, going in. Buzzlet, you're going to just hop over the wall as Baron. A little unhappy with his home getting invaded.
Just going to be clearing this ping ward here and then poke on the side.
Yeah, Baron looks like where these teams are going to try to focus right now. Dragon is going to be up in a minute, and that would be Soul Point if it is picked up by I don't know. Obviously, last Dragon fight was an absolute fiesta. This one, we'll see if it gets a little bit cleaner or if we're going to start to see, I don't know, continue to keep the wacky, wild hijinks of these team fights alive.
Would be really fun to see another wacky fight, but for MYNT, technically, they don't need to do anything. We're reaching the points where we were talking about with some of their champions, right? We're close to 25 minutes, close to 30 minutes, where 3 item marks, 3 item it's going to be hit for some of these champions, and that really makes the difference. So they could give up technically this dragon, it wouldn't be game over, and then play for the next one. And even then, I think they can give up Soul because it's Chemtech Soul. It's not the most valuable Soul anyway. So if they want to, they could technically play around that anyway as well.
Definitely can. Chemtech not known for being the best of souls, but it is a soul nonetheless. As we do start to see the teams group up for the dragon. House gonna tank up a little bit of Maokai damage, but maybe tank it up a lot for free here. Already down to about half health. The Maokai went so deep in there, and now he might be a little bit too far, but there is all the focus. The tank is down. Damage going across a bunch. Anivia on the side trying to do damage, but Xayah is shredding through the team. They're just going to keep going forward. Buzz Lightyear goes down, and they got the Anivia down into the passive. That is going to be another death. Kermit getting that kill. 5-1 on the Azir, 6-0 on the Xayah. And I don't know have hit such a mid-game stride, and they're riding it to try to finish this game off strong.
The power of having your carries fed on this side. The Renekton may have completely lost his lane, but it doesn't matter when your carries are doing this great. And I'm honestly don't even think that it was just the fact that the carries got fed, but I think it was that one fight we saw over on the bot side where Malphite kind of just killed himself on their turret for
Yeah.
the side. That really gave so much gold and made a big difference later on. Baron should be or could be a priority here, but they realize that people are spawning and Anivia still have teleport, so they are not going to overcommit for this particular objective just yet, at least.
Yeah, Malphite ult just about to come back off cooldown now too, so definitely if you're not just pinpoint with that one, you do want to be worried about that. They're going to go for this mid lane tower and at least get a little bit for their time. MYNT holding on at least for the time being.
We're still waiting for the second item on Anivia. That is kind of difficult for Squid Demon to be able to fight. In comparison, Kermit close to completing his third item.
Yeah, as we do now see lanes just get to a little bit of a point here. Now, what do you want to see from MYNT? Because right now they are behind for sure. And like you said, they can wait a little bit, but with the Baron now being jockeyed position for, that's not an objective you could just kind of give away for free.
Yeah, it would be really difficult to try and play off around the Baron. I think later on, actually, they can just give up Baron because of the Anivia. But at this point, where Anivia is so far behind, it's probably going to be really difficult for them to try and defend the base if they give up Baron. So I would ideally hope that they play just defense for the Baron, not even try to take it or anything like that. Like just poke with, oh wait, Malphite engage.
Malphite engaging. Now back onto the Renekton.
More
Nothing has changed. Renekton will still lose this fight.
Exactly. More than half health out of the Renekton just like that. But that's Malphite ultimate down. Even though it is kind of coming down quickly, it's still Malphite ultimate down. So it could be a window for the side of IDK to maybe look for Baron. But going back to the point just quickly, I think they can try and defend the Baron on the side of MYNT by poking with the Ezreal and the Anivia. If you give up one member, but in the meantime you stop the Baron from being taken down, I think that's still worth. So if they can play around that and then buy enough time so that they can scale to their strength, that would be the most ideal situation for them.
Definitely. It's also important to note, Alce is down on that bot side without a teleport. So that Malphite not able to go cross map if a fight does start on this top side.
And it feels like they are really hovering for this Baron coming on the side. There is a Blast Cone if they want to try and make it happen. And the Renekton does have teleport that you bring up, so could be the play, and it feels like it's going to be the play. Azir melts this down as well.
Yeah, Xayah's no stranger to taking Barons pretty quick too. It's going to be the TP for Renekton.
I think it's that.
Yeah, it's just going to go down. Baron taken. No fight really given as Mox just going to walk away. Free Baron for I don't know to continue pushing forward. Quickness now burned though. They're gonna go on to the Thresh, but Buzz Lightyear takes a lot of damage in the process. Does back away. Helasso goes down. Haphazardous is still trying to pump out damage, but the Malphite is starting to get beefy. Dashing in his Shix, but dashing to his death, and he will fall. As it is just once again 2 deaths, but this time nothing lost. 2 Barons already gone for I don't know.
Yeah, the engage there was really well executed by Buzz Lightyear, and they got the Thresh followed up into the Xayah. Great flash engage by Bear. Really unlucky that they couldn't get the full back so that they can try and make the Xayah be in the worst position possible. But still, 2 kills, 2 Barons off the map. That's still a lot of value. And important, they also played when the Azir wasn't there. Oh.
Yeah, another knock up there on the Meme Lord, but Meme Lord is tanky and Haphazardous still has damage. They have to be careful. Kermit's going to go in. Azir ult pushing it back into the Xayah. That's another 2 kills, and it's just Squidamon back alive, holding off, but going to burn into the passive. And Kermit says, I've seen this one before. Give me the kill. 300 gold and a ace clean for the side of I don't know with the 3 people that they had.
They just needed 3 people. But importantly, they just needed the members that have the damage. They try to buy more than they can chew, and they pay the price on the side of MYNT Gaming. Kermit is flying around, destroying people, truly representing what the Baron is, just getting on the back of everyone and killing the targets on the other side. Great performance by Kermit so far.
Yeah, Kermit has had a couple of really good ults, and just overall, the laning phase has been great. The team fights have been great. Haphazard is also no slouch, putting out a lot of damage. Chemtech Soul picked up, and I don't know, now getting the reset with the Barons that they have left.
Now this is one of the most difficult spots to be in for the side of MYNT Gaming, because even though the 30-minute mark has passed, when you look at the item deficits on each side, it becomes really difficult for them to try and stop certain things. At least Anivia finally hits 3 items, so or 2 items, so technically you can try and defend with that. And when she hits level 16, her ultimate is going to clear waves even better. And Barrel buff should be down with the coming pushes from the side of IDK, but they still need more time, and I'm not sure if they are going to get that.
Yeah, I don't know. Definitely have the capability to start pushing this game to its end. 2 inhibitors open. Baron just about to fall off now. Everybody's split for I don't know. Doesn't seem like I don't know want to group up for now. The mid lane, at the very least, going to be pushed in. I want to see I don't know group. I want to see them use this power they have.
Well, they can try and force that. That's one of the main ways that they've been able to fight. Teleport on the side, by the way.
It's completely spotted. Gonna try to go in. Not gonna be able to though.
I respect the proactiveness. I don't think it was going to work out because of the angle, but at least a call was made to try and do something.
I don't know. Gonna walk in. Halasso now gonna get stunned. Immediate flash. Good. Back away. It's a flash burned, but it is a still alive Thresh.
That's something that I would love to see more of from the side of MYNT Gaming. Try and play with the vision like that. Try and make use of your stuns to get those sort of picks. That was something that IDK did and worked out marvelously for them.
Right now, just clearing out the jungle as much as they can. Baron not going to be up for a little bit. It seems like, I don't know, aren't looking to pressure unless they get some kind of crazy pick.
Could be that they are waiting for the Baron as well to just spawn and try and close out the game through that. It's easier for them to push with that, and it's also easier to force a fight because I'm guessing they expect the side of MYNT to try and stop them doing Baron, and then as soon as they get Baron and they kill them, they close out the game. Could be their logic.
Yeah, we'll see. I definitely feel like, I don't know, have the capability to just take fights right now. You're 7-0 on your Xayah. You're 8-1 on the Azir. The power is there. You've just got to make the engage.
Well, one more item never hurts, right? So they probably want to get that as well.
It's one more item for your enemy then, too.
Well, that's true. It's kind of difficult to say. Like I think like you that they can probably force a bit more, or at the very least, even if it's not a fight, they can certainly threaten for the inhibitor because there's no turret at all. So they can take either bot lane or mid lane inhibitor if they really wanted to. But it feels like they are respecting a bit too much. Oh, busted. Ouch.
Yeah, we'll dash back to the Ezreal. But it is a reset coming in 20 seconds before this Baron spawns. So they're going to have to wait for the recon, and they're already second to this Baron.
Malphite built Cosmic Drive. He's really committing to trying and kill someone here.
What? That is a choice.
Well, if he can kill the Azir with his ultimate, I think it's a worthwhile choice. But Azir completed Sonya, so I'm not sure if it's going.
Azir has Sonya's. Xayah has ultimate. It's not looking great. Oust now also just tanking up for nothing. Already half health going in. Going to do a little bit of damage, but nowhere near enough to threaten. Charm is going to hit, but nobody's following up. Oust going through. Ezreal hits, but the Xayah is still alive.
She's dead.
Will now die as Azir has shown up and is trying to clean up. Shix is here. And Mox on the side, but Kermit is just holding the line. Another death for the Anivia, and Kermit just going to go forward, flashing in. It doesn't matter if they take the Xayah. The Azir is on the side to clean up afterwards.
Exactly. The 6 item Azir didn't even need to use his Sonyas to get the kill and be able to now secure this Baron. But on the flip side, Malphite was able to run away fast enough so that he didn't die. So I guess the Cosmic Drive does work out in that sense. The teamfight though didn't work out that well, and it's going to be pushed into the base from the side of MYNT Gaming. Even without the Xayah, I think they have enough power to try and close it out. But Elder is 1 minute. If they overcommit and
What's
they
another
lose a
buff?
fight, that can be really big.
Definitely could be. Ezreal just going to poke out a little bit here. I think Elder is going to be the cause. It's 40 seconds. We can see, I don't know, backing
Ouch.
off for it.
I think
They're gonna
it's a
try to control
respectable
it.
call. Like Elder really could make the difference if you give it up. So I just think 30 seconds, go back, collect any sort of extra gold you have. Asir probably just bought a potion because he doesn't have anything else to buy, and now it's going to try and win the fight.
I don't know. Cleaning up that blue buff just to be as strong as possible for the incoming Elder fight. I don't know. Are able to walk in here is just too much wave control that has to be dealt with for MYNT. Because the
Two
Elder's going to be
waves
started
pushing
up.
into their base.
Yeah, and look at the damage Haphazardous can put out immediately now, taking this Malphite down to half health. Renekton ulted early just to try and push them off. Al's gonna go in, uses the ult, but only hits the Thresh. Haphazardous gonna
Azir
ult to
gets
back
it,
away.
of course.
Azir gets the Elder Dragon, and Shix getting thrown into the enemy team. Just gonna continue on, gets the stun, and it is going to be Meme Lord getting that kill. Kermit TP'd down to the bot side, taking down the inhibitor, using the ult just to clear waves, and they just want to end this game now. Amox backing off to the base as they do see Azir. He's just ending the game, guys. Kermit is just going to finish it off. Takes the Nexus, and Kermit taking the game. I don't know. Win game one.
Kermit really didn't care about KDA. He just saw he was 11-1 and said, I don't need any more kills. I just need this game to end, and went for it. After securing the dragon himself, he was also the one that got the dragon. Really good game by the side of IDK. Really good game by Kermit. They took advantage of their timings and they did what they needed to do. Who cares about a Malphite that is ahead when your Asir and Xayah can do that sort of damage?
Definitely. It eventually Azir became incredibly strong. Xayah was also a threat. Just looking at the damage numbers after this game, 40,000 on the Azir, 30,000 on the Xayah. There's the closest thing that was there was a Mox in the middle at 35. But really, nothing else was going to compare. You take down one, the other head of the Hydra is going to close in on you.
Exactly. It's just so difficult to try and stop people. And also, we didn't put much attention into the Maokai either, because with Maokai, it's Maokai, but he ended 6-0 and did quite a bit of damage with those MIPs as well. It was quite bothersome in some of those fights. So at least everyone on the side of IDK apporting their small part to try and provide for the team. Maybe some more damage than the others. And also, I want to give props to Shixis, because even though his early lane phase was disastrous and was a really clear weak point, he was able to never give more advantages and recover really effectively into the game.
Yeah, it was absolutely great. I don't know. Coming in strong tonight for the current 1-0. We're going to take a quick break as we get ready for the next game here, guys. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this. And welcome back, everybody. We are just about to get underway here for our second game of the night. Teams have swapped sides. I'm once again Thousand Eyes, joined by TDS. And we just saw, I don't know, pull themselves back from a rough start to get into a winning position and take game one of the night. Right now, we're going to see if the compositions change up a little bit or what Mint Academy are going to look to change. What do you think here, TDS?
Well, the easiest thing to change was going to be the side already opting for red side, so trying to make those sort of adaptations. And it's going to be interesting seeing if they are going to try and give counter pick for their top laner. Last time they went for the blind pick, didn't work out, or they went for the Malphite, did get the counter pick, didn't work out that great, but I think they will have a good opportunity to play around with that. The Asir, though, a really smart approach because I think Kermit played that game out really, really well.
Yeah, it was the Rel, Fiddle, and Mordekaiser. So right now,
Yeah.
either Rel or Mordekaiser are going to get through that ban list. I don't know, just banning the same thing that they did last time. And it's going to be the Rel that comes through. So we'll see if I don't know want to go that. They did go pretty early on the support, at least getting it into that top three there. There's Mint Gaming first picking there, but the Maokai is left open, and the Maokai is going to get picked up. I don't know, really favoring that champion.
They really liked the champion. It was really effective to force certain engages because, if I'm not wrong, there was a couple of engages where he just pressed W onto the Malphite and followed him onto the backline and pretty
Yep.
much set up fights for the team. So it can be a really effective way to play the game. Meanwhile, Mint taking away their duo from the previous game from the side of IDK and pairing it up with the Rakan, trying to make it so that the lovers duo can finally be together and try and win the game through that. Well, I wasn't against the Ezreal really, but the difference in damage really was felt. I think that the Saya did so much, and it was noticeable. Even though the Ezreal did a good amount of damage, close to a similar one, it wasn't as noticeable as the Saya, and I think that is one of the main differences as well, and the self-building factor as well. The I almost always forget the name of the name. I think it's Gale.
Featherstorm?
Yeah, Featherstorm. Is really useful to deny some engages coming in from the side of IDK.
Yeah, the Ash lock in here for I don't know. Once again, another Trinity Force user, as it will be
Yep.
locked in. And the Melio, currently the hover. I really want to see the Melio locked in. I love that champion. He has been nerfed pretty heavily going into this patch. He's still really good at what he does. And especially against something like the Rakan, where you have the charm there. If you can get the cleanse on the charm, it gives Ash the opportunity to flash out from the knockup and completely change a fight.
And with a champion as immobile as the Ash, having this sort of potential cleansing without having needing to have the cleanse can be really, really useful for her. I also really like the kick being able to push away any sort of engage attempts. A lot of times the Rakan can be completely messed up by the, I don't remember the name, but it's kind of super ultra fire kick from the Melio and be able to push away the engage from happening. And it works as well with the Ari.
Absolutely, yeah. Just being able to cleanse the charm, take away the engage opportunities for Mint Academy. And right now, I don't know. They have a good front to back. They don't have a lot of damage though yet. The Ash will be a bit of a threat, but they don't have something like that Azir to be the duo to that threat. It's similar to last time. If they just had the Xayah, wouldn't be enough. But with a strong mid lane pick here, I don't know, looking to build a very similar composition to what they had in game one.
And could be a good opportunity to try and go for maybe something like the Syndra to have consistent damage. Or if they want the Orianna as well, has been buffed quite a bit. You have the Maokai, so you technically have someone to deliver the ball on the Orianna. Could be a really interesting pick to try and play with, and does have a good amount of control over in the mid lane. Not sure if it's going to be the most effective matchup onto the area though, so probably shying away from that. But Mint goes back for the Gragas. Could be a top lane Gragas, could be a jungle Gragas. The flex potential is still there. And it's not like in the previous game it was bad. I think in the jungle it felt effective. It's just that they were really far behind in certain moments that it didn't really find the value that it has or it can have.
Yeah. It also was just a little bit rough at points, a couple of miscasts.
True.
That can always change around game to game. So we'll see. Vex is going to be the lock in for the mid lane for I don't know. It's very burst heavy, not as much DPS as we're seeing last game. We're seeing, I don't know, rather than that team fight DPS, they're going for the picks. They want to grab people with the Ash Arrow, grab people with the Vex ult, and try to finish them off before the fight even begins.
Could be the consistent damage coming in from the top lane. Maybe a Jax or a Fiora. Since Camille is banned, I remember last game Ilaoi was banned as well, so it could be a pick for them. But it's still the Bolivar. Bolivar top lane. It's been a while since I've last seen it. Or Maokai top lane as well. Could be either of the two. They can be flexed around, but would be surprised to see the Maokai particularly. I think
Yeah.
Bolivar is going to be the choice up there. It's not really consistent or a huge consistent damage dealer, but it does have quite a bit of damage that you can go for. I think Trinity Force into tank is deceptively deals a good amount of damage and can set up for quite some nice things, especially dives coming through.
Yeah, there's a couple of weird builds out there for Volibear that can be a little bit aggressive, can go for the, I believe, what was it, redemption, and I forget the other item. But
Is it
there's
healing
some,
item?
yeah, it's something weird. I think it was Radiant Virtue, actually. Yeah, I think it
No,
was Radiant
that
Virtue
would make
Redemption,
sense.
and you just have a lot of healing on your kit alongside just buffing up your W from that. You just stay alive for a long time. But going up against the Gnar here, it's kind of changing things around where we saw the Volibear or we saw the Renekton versus the Malphite, and it was the tank v Bruiser. This time Gnar has a lot more capability to win that lane inherently. And if Alce was winning on the Malphite, I'm a little concerned what this might mean for Shix.
True. This is not the same case where Malphite getting a lead is not going to be that impactful. Like, yes, Malphite getting a lead can give him more tank items, but it's not like he's going to carry the game through that. Nart getting items can be impactful both in the side lane and to kill carries because he does opt into a bit more damage in his build. He can get on top of the carries like the Ashe that have barely any mobility. And even if you cleanse away his stun into the wall, he has a follow-up stun to try and kill you there. So it can be really nice for the Denar if he does get the lead. And if that works like that, I think mid gaming does have the possibilities to try and snowball. I also really like the fact that this time around they have an Ari. They didn't have enough agency in the previous game from the mid lane to try and look for picks. This time around, with the Ari, they can push waves really easily, they can try and move around, and try and find plays in the rest of the map with this mid laner.
Definitely looking for a bit more action, I think, in the early game. A little bit more skirmishing throughout this game. As both teams looking for those picks, looking for that possibility of the domination in lane. I think, I don't know though, once they start grouping up, if you catch any of those players out, outside of maybe a Mega Nard out Gnar, it feels like it's going to be pretty easy to pick somebody off.
It really could be like that. There's a huge amount of CC on both sides to a certain degree. They both teams do have a lot of CC to play around with, but whoever gets the first pick not necessarily means that they are going to get the most value out of that first pick, especially depending on who the target is. If it's, for example, Mega Gnar, not the small Gnar, but it's the Mega Gnar, it's not like they are going to immediately burst him out because of just the resistances that the Mega Gnar does have. Same can be said for if it's the Bolivar on the other side. If you try to pick him up, it's not going to be that easy. So it's important to also notice who gets picked up and in what situation it happens as well.
Absolutely. I'll keep my eye on that top side, but I'm also going to keep my eye on the bottom side too. Obviously, Lovers duo Xayah Rakan, very strong as a duo. Melio Ashe is not bad either. You get the Melio W. It's really easy to chase people down with that increased range, the slow from the Ashe. I'm assuming you're probably also going to have the approach velocity on the Ashe as well. It's really easy to get some kind of catch out and just continue to run people down, forcing fights that maybe Xayah Rakan don't want to take.
And Ashe is already a champion that has good range plus the slows. So adding on top of that, it's almost always going to be really nicely. In the previous game, though, we didn't get the chance to see the lovers duo together. And more times than less, when you do get the opportunity to play the two champions together, you get more opportunities to make easier for the Rakan. I think it enables Rakan more than it enables the Saya, not because it's impossible for the Rakan to look for plays with a different duo, but the extra range that you get just makes it deceptively safer, and it also allows for the Rakan to be a bit more risky in how he approaches certain fights. Also, as well, when you're going against the Ashe this time around, it can be easier to try and get on top of her, even with Emilio, because she has barely any mobility. So if you're able to get on top of her, especially when Emilio is not close by, you can really set up potential plays for your team.
Absolutely here. As we are going to hit our spectator delay, we're going to take a quick break as we get ready for what could be the last game of the night. If I don't know, can pull off the victory, it's an easy 2-0, or we could be going 1-1 if Mint Academy can get themselves back into this series. We'll find out just after this. And welcome back, everybody, as we do have our teams underway once again. Red side moving in as a group, but this time it is MYNT Academy. We're getting a little bit of the same thing. Pretty much just an easy spot out, immediately back away from it. Also,
It's
going to
really the
take a
same on
little bit of
Ooh.
damage. Knockup going to hit, but I don't think we're going to get a kill off of this.
It's just poke between each other. I think Milio does get a bit of gold, so actually he didn't get any. Okay, I thought it was going to be at the very least some sort of gold advantage, so not
Get
really
gold
much
off
apart
that.
from just staring at each other.
It's actually kind of surprising. I don't know how
Yeah, I
Milio
thought you
didn't
get it with the out attacks count as well, but
They
apparently
do.
not.
They
Yeah,
definitely do.
does
He
it
just
count if
never
it's a
autoed.
shield? Maybe he hit the shield from the Rakan and maybe it
No, it
didn't
still
count.
counts. I guess he just never
Yeah, that's
autoed.
weird then.
Just never got the auto off. But regardless, it's going to be a standard start. This time's both junglers starting on their red side. So a bit of opposite jungling coming through.
Yeah,
Does
both.
mean now that top side, a little bit worrying here if Gnar does not manage that rage correctly.
Well, it could be a case that we now see Mimlar being able to play for his top laner. In the previous game, it really didn't happen, but this time around, with the push being in the favor of the Gnar, I think could be a good opportunity for Mimlar to try and find it.
Yeah. A little bit of fighting back and forth. Electrocute on that Ahri does mean that Vex definitely going to lose out on that trade.
Also, you can see in the bot lane, just as a quick thing, because I'm kind of stuck on that as well. He hit twice the Saya there, and it's getting the gold, so it's weird that he didn't
Oh
have
my
it
god,
before.
a
That's a
Mox.
lot of damage.
Mox is taking a lot of damage. This is what we talked about. The slow is very good. Forcing the flash, but the flash follow haphazardous because it's just going to get the first blood. And it is just a better duo from the Milio Ashe. And as the Mox goes down, that is huge for this Ashe to get going.
Yeah, they just pressed auto attack and then run down the Ashe. I think they used just one volley, and that's about it. That was so much damage onto the Ashe and a really good first blood onto one of the best champions possible to get the first blood as well. It's hazardous on the Ashe, the AD carry getting this super early advantage.
Yeah, and remember, this is also the Ashe that is most likely going to be going for that Trinity Force, which is a very expensive item. Being able to get that a little earlier is a huge boon. So Haphazardous does need to be a little careful. Ward is going to spot out Hello Bear, so the jungle gank is not going to work.
We're just going to go back to not only that one ward, just as a quick thing, they also have one inside of the blue buff. So they know where Hello Bear was going to come from 100%.
Yeah, lots of damage. Kermit, once again, just controlling mid lane with this Vex. Squidamon has just not had a great time today, and doesn't look like the Ahri is going to do a whole lot different.
And both are running Ignite, so any bad trade you take could be close to a solo kill for either side.
Yeah, it's a little unfortunate. However, there is still the opportunity to turn things around. Obviously, Gragas ganks are very potent. Rakan can set up a lot here. So we are seeing the Gragas set up on this bot side.
I think he's going to come through. There's no flash on the Ashe nor Ghost.
Yeah, knockup is going to hit. Hello Bear now.
Yep.
E-flash, that's just going to be a dead Ashe. Colosso just has to watch. And his trade now 1-for-1. Both AD carries getting a kill and a death.
Where did the Ashe that Hazardous didn't back when they pushed the wave into the turret? That is one of the better opportunities to try and go for a back there and try and get yourself into a spot where you can just consistently keep on winning. And with that play now, it's not only going to be the farm, it's going to be also the play going in favor of this Saya.
Yeah, a little bit of extra money there too. It does make up for the loss of first blood.
Yeah.
Overall, though, a little bit more money going over to the Xayah. Also going to keep running him down. Look like the move speed's there yet for the Ashe. And they're just going to have to watch the Lovers bot lane run back and get back to their base.
Would have been a good attempt if they were able to get anything. So they are probably more than likely going to answer back with a plate of their own. But they are staying longer down here, actually, with no Gragas.
Yeah, Maokai not around to try and go for anything funky. It seems like the plate is going to be threatened at the least. Also, just poking around here, looking for something. A knockup is going to hit. A Mox puts a little bit of damage out, but cannot follow up.
They're also trying to keep the vision up as much as possible to know if the Gragas is not close by at all. Now they will spot them, so more than likely they are just going to keep the push up. And when it's just a straight up 1v1, 2v2, I think they win this really effectively.
Yeah, well,
Like
they're
that.
trading a little bit here. Emilio can just keep the pressure on. And Mox,
Ooh.
the flash from the Ricard just to keep a Mox alive. And Haphazardous and Halasso are just controlling bot lane.
This was way too strong, more than I expected to. Extra range, super damage with that Q on cooldown from the Ashe, and the fact that they also had the advantage because of what happened early on. Yes, the Saya did get the kill back on the plate, but she wasn't able to back. That means that she doesn't get any extra value out of that. But now we may see a situation where it's the opposite. Saya is coming back, Ashe is not backing, now they will back, so the advantage is not going to be as present.
Yeah, it wasn't a kill, but it was a summoner burned. It was a trade of the plate back towards, I don't know. And it's going to, at the very least, keep Ashe in a strong spot. If not just because of the current state of this matchup. Ashe can just run them down. Has the Berserker Greaves already, so just going to continue to run people down. And I don't know if that's really going to change unless we get a Gragas or a Maokai in the vicinity.
Could be the difference maker. And also to point out, wait, also, that is a lot of damage you're taking. Just as a quick thing as well on the bot lane, Ashe Arrow will be up soon. And there's no cleanse now on the Saya because of what happened with the play. Could also be a good opportunity to try and go for a kill down there.
Very much so.
Oh.
We'll see. Flash forward. The E into the dash there. Squidamon takes a little bit of damage, trying to trade back. Meanwhile, on the back bot side, Halasso taking a lot of damage. They don't get the kill, though, and Haphazardous using that Melio W to put out so much damage. And that will be the Xayah following. Hello Bear does not get a good E off and is just going to get run down. Haphazardous continuing to go.
No.
There is the double kill as they're just going to queue back. Buzz Lightyear taking more damage, and it is Meme Lord that gets that kill. Nice ult from Shix on the top side to try and trade back, but it is Gnar winning on the top side. Ashe on the bot side, though, 3-1 now.
Yeah, and the main difference is that the fact that yes, Gnar is winning over on the top side, but Ashe has 3 kills. Meanwhile, yes, your Gnar may winning, he doesn't have anything else to go in his favor apart from farm. They are going to get the dragon as well in the process, and a huge amount of value in the favor of IDK. Really unlucky as well, just as a quick note, what happened in the mid lane, because Kermit wanted to flash Fear immediately, but failed the flash Fear. I think he procced the Fear before flashing in, so the timing was off, and really unluckily wasn't able to get it going. Allowed for Squid Demon to run away as soon as possible.
Yeah, really good stuff, though, all around as Haphazardous can just kind of take over things. And that's, like we said, Ashe Arrow exists now. It is entirely possible. Flash away, though. And now it's going to be used the Ashe ult.
No
now
ulti.
used Mox does not have an ultimate here, so has to flash away. The root will hit onto Halasso. Buzz Lightyear just gonna take a little bit of damage. Dashes back in. Xayah tries to trade back, but the shields are too much. Haphazardous has to burn some summoners, but will just stay alive and get control of the lane once again.
Interestingly, though, even though the Ashe does blow the flash, they also blow the flash off of the Saya. So technically, it's a 1-for-1 trade at the end of the day. But with level 6, that trade is not going to be like that any longer. It feels like as soon as you hit level 6 with the Saya, it should be pretty easy for that Saya to be able to ignore whatever you're trying to go for. And she still is quite healthy here.
Level 6 will now be pinged for Mox. So a lot less likely that we're going to see the same thing happen. Maokai going to use the ult here. Going to try and force the cleanse, and will succeed in doing so.
But now cleanse down once again. So that means that Ashe Arrow and Maokai Ultimate going to be scary for a future fight as well. Perfect opportunity also for the back of the Ashe, and now she's going to be able to use her lead accordingly. It seems like she's going for... Is she going for Blade for Static Shift?
Possibly. It definitely is possibly Static Shiv. I don't think it is because I don't think the dagger
Or
would make
Kraken,
sense.
actually, yeah.
I think Kraken is more likely because Kerchi's Shard is now a longsword, not a dagger.
Yeah, I think yeah, you're
Huh.
right. It's longsword, no dagger. I would have loved to see the static shift, not gonna lie.
Would have been interesting. Ash
It's
doesn't
also
get a whole lot out of AP outside of the
true.
ultimate. Charm does miss. Squid Demon now in trouble. Kermit gonna go forward, gets the fear, gets the kill. Easy money in the mid lane for Kermit, but money going over to the bot lane of MYNT thanks to the Rift Herald.
And with that turret going down, covering a bit of the of what happened in the mid lane, but also recovering a lot for the Saya with that deficit she was on.
Shix going in onto Alls,
Oh,
who's going to use the ult now, and
he
Shix just
didn't
kind
hit
of
him
taking a
though.
lot of free damage, but the heals are good. And the sheen is so much. Shix still running down, just going to get kited out. And Shix now uses the Q, goes in,
Oh, he
gets
didn't hit
more
it.
damage, but still, once again, waiting on the cooldowns. And Alice is just continuing to kite out. Q is going to hit. Here comes Meme Lord with the ultimate, not going to actually hit. It's just going to be a back away. Also actually flashed at the end of that as well.
I think Shixis messed up on the Q stun. He wasn't able to get the Q stun when he procced it, so wasn't able to actually get the damage for the kill. Really unlucky there, could have been a kill situation, but really close in the top lane. It's closer than it seems with the deficit that Shixis is on, but it could turn into a kill eventually. Oh, he needs to be careful here though.
Absolutely. Alce has TP'd back in, and
Yeah, he's
Alce
dead.
is just going to pick up the kill. Picking up where we left off in the last game. And top lane, once again, just working out in also Roll's favor.
Really painful death there for Shiggs, unluckily.
Yeah.
But now Nard does have a bit of a lead, able to provide that with that kill the lead for his team, and going to be quite useful for everyone. And yeah, it turns out it is the Kraken Slayer.
Interesting. So Will, at the very least, does give a lot of strong power spike for the Kraken Slayer. However, it is still no mythic. Obviously, a lot of times you don't go for the mythic first on the 80 carries, but the Trinity Force usually is the rush. So I'll be interested to see if we go for another mythic. There is the alt forward,
Oh,
Squid Demon going in, Buzz Lightyear hitting onto the knockup with the charms, but there's Melio to try and get them out of dodge. Meme Lord goes low, will stay alive, Amok's down very low, and
re-engage.
in comes Vex, who's gonna get a lot of damage down.
Oh,
Zaya goes down. Maokai also just going to hold the ball in place while the Ash gets in range, and it is
he's
3
going
for
in.
1. 3 for none, rather. Well, it's going to be 1 here. Is no, Kermit's just going to flash out and stay alive anyway.
Kermit fails the Q, but he survives. That's the most important part. And they played that off really, really well. It looked like it could have been such a good opportunity for MYNT to get a big team fight going, to find a lot of value through that. And they had a huge amount of low health bars on the play. But when Kermit is able to come on the side and they aren't able to close out any of those kills, perfect opportunity, and IDK turns it around completely. Alcerol, though, getting a lot of value with this plates up here in the top lane, so at least making it so that the gold lead is really not that high.
Definitely. And at least trading something here. You can see gold just about even right now, despite the kills here. And that's purely due to the plate values that we've picked up. Lots of plates on the top side, all of the plates on the bot side. And it is what is keeping MYNT in this game, despite their rough start.
That's one of the most important parts, right? Trying to make it so that at least you still have a fighting chance. Obviously, there's lanes that are lacking in damage, particularly mid lane is the one that has the main like problem right now for the side of main. But everywhere else, you can make an argument that they can fight, so fights could still be close enough. Hazardous though will back soon enough, and I think when he gets his mythic or close to his mythic, that we're going to begin seeing a much bigger impact from this Ash.
Definitely mid tower going to get focused on. So we do see Halasso just backing over to help the Ash. I did quick check the runes. We do have a mana flow on the Melio, which is a cardinal sin of Melio. Do not take mana flow. You're still stacking that one, buddy. We're 15 minutes into the game.
Yeah, like I'm not a huge into I don't play Melio. I'm not huge into playing Melio, but I would guess you would want things that have a more instantaneous impact
Well,
than that, right?
it's more the fact, and I'm going to use my status as a pretty a pretty. I've played a lot of Melio. I love this champion.
An expert
His
Melio, some would say.
yeah, I was ranked 12 for a little bit in North America. But Melio just only procs mana flow on his Q. So you just don't ever get it. It takes forever to stack it. And the whole point of mana flow is you hit the 250 mana and then you get a lot of free mana regen.
Yeah.
You're not unlocking that until 20 minutes into the game at least.
Yeah, because every other ability is like shield based and or heal based, right? So it's
Yeah,
not
it just
really.
doesn't proc the mana flow because you're not actually hitting an ability on somebody.
Yeah, that makes much more sense.
Yeah, I did check. It is currently at 175.
Well, he's getting close to there at the very least. Oh,
Oh, Vexalt gonna miss. There
it
is the
doesn't matter
fear, and it's
though.
just a death there. Ignite gonna pick up the kill. Kermit once again gets the solo kill on the Ari. It's just been the story of the night. Shik's now also in a little bit of trouble. Another story of the night has been Alceral controlling on the side lanes, no matter the champ. Rift Herald gonna get the mid lane tower, but Alceral can just continue to push pretty easily here.
Yeah, the difference between each solo laner is quite interesting. Like both teams have one solo laner that is winning their lane really effectively. But the difference is going to be who can find more impact with it. And so far, at least in the context of the rest of the team and the game, it feels like Kermit has done that because he has been able to impact the matchup, the team fights and the matchups. Asharo, okay, failed.
Not gonna hit, but we like the looks. It will
It's a
just
good
be
attempt.
I don't know, backing away. And once again, we're at a mid game where I don't know have really solid control. Yes, the gold lead is not super big considering the kills, but what does matter is the fact that they have the tempo, they have the dragons, and it feels like
Yeah.
fights are always going over and I don't know favors and I don't know's favor. And I'm sure that Mint probably don't recognize how close in gold they are right now.
I feel like the main problem for that, and the thing that maybe it's making them not think that, is the difference in mid lane. The fact that
Mm.
the Ares still has no mythic when you see over on the other side and Kermit is going towards the second item already can make teams, or at least the players looking at the teams, realize that maybe we're not even that close. Oh, Azrael can get a kill here.
Not going to be able to, though, and might just get run down. Ghost is used by the Ash. They're going to continue to push forward, but Buzz Lightyear is around. I did just do a quick check. We are over 2,000 gold difference in the top lane right now, which is a huge
Yeah.
factor of why we are keeping in. But mid lane, same thing going the other way. Kermit obviously has been doing great this game. The little bit of gold lead that we're seeing is the 80 carries there. That is the difference maker. It is just about 1,000 gold in favor of the Ash, and probably going to continue to go that way for the time being.
Interesting, and just quickly before we go into the fight as well, or potential fight, Gragas is going tank. So
Yeah.
deceptively tankier than normal. Can be a difference maker if they think that they can blow up this Gragas before the fight happens. Oh, Shix is.
Yeah, Shakes is in a little bit of trouble getting run down, but the dragon is being started on the opposite side, already down to half health. Hello Bear gonna get hit by the root. Here comes
Engage.
Buzz Lightyear hitting the knockup. Charm onto a bunch, but not gonna actually get the kills. They're
Oh, the
gonna go
re-engage.
in. Yeah, re-engage coming through. Alceral trying to push off the backline,
So
but it
much
doesn't
damage.
matter. There's just too much damage. Kermit is in the backside, and that's so much more of a threat than the Gnar. And that is going to push off Mint. They lose their support, and they're going to lose the dragon here. Soul point given over to I don't know.
They have so much. It's so lucky for the side of Mint that the one that died wasn't the one that got hit by the Vex ultimate. Because if not, that is a close to an ace. Then our probably doesn't die, but the rest of the members do. That is such a good fight coming in for IDK. The difference is not the top laners, but more so what they are able to accomplish with their gold leads. And even though Dinar is able to reach the back lane, he doesn't really get anything else because Ash just flashes away and nothing matters. But on the other side, everyone else gets blown up. And as soon as one is dead, the others cannot follow up on it. Great team fight by IDK, and one step closer to that soul.
Definitely, and it feels like Mint are on the ropes. Remember, this is knockouts. If you
Yep.
lose this, you are done for the season. And I don't know, definitely feeling like they've got this one on lock. Mint have to pull something off strong here if they want to get back into this game.
They have to find plays. I would love to see them hover around Azarol. He had the lead for so long. If they play around him, not necessarily try and commit a lot of resources there, but hover around him, play around his split pushing, they can find turrets for free and try and get gold value through that. That would be a really effective way to try and come back into the game. Even though I say come back, that the goal difference is not that big, but it just feels like that with how the game has been going.
I mean, it's all into the Gnar is the problem, and Gnar
Yeah.
didn't do anything that last fight. I did also want to point out, we're almost at the mana flow completed for Melio. I
Yeah.
want to keep in mind, most champions finish this at like 8 minutes. Ooh, Charm
Oh,
knockup.
Ash is dead.
That's just going to be a dead Ash
Wait,
here.
actually?
Melio trying to keep him alive, but it's not going to be enough. And here comes Maokai ult to turn it around, but there's no damage in this fight. Vex is coming down, trying to stall out. Amox takes a huge chunk, though. Maokai doing so much. Meme Lord now getting the kill. There is Kermit showing up, getting one kill, going for the second. It's going to be the double going over to Kermit. Squid Demon now trying to get the charm. Will get that one. Is just going to ult away to stay alive. Nope, there is Kermit trying to get the kill.
Oh, wait, one
fleeing.
more.
Fear hit, but Kermit did not have the ignite this time, and it's going to be Squid Demon staying alive, while Alcerol is continuing the split push on the bot side.
Wouldn't be surprised if Kermit thought that he wasn't going to be able to blow the Ari before she's able to run away like that. And yeah, Alcerol may come in and keep the push going, but that fight is won thanks to the commitment from the rest of the team from the side of IDK. Also, cute thing, and I'm not sure if you saw it, Gregas body slam was cancelled by the fear just as he was going over the wall. Makes a difference in the kill. Really, I didn't know that was how it worked since he was already going over the wall, but ends up netting the kill on the Gragas as well. Really nice small detail. And even though it doesn't turn into a big objective, cancels the pick onto the Ash, which was big. It was a really important pick, but because you counter it with a kill, it turns into essentially almost nothing instead.
Yeah, very big. The fears always do stop any of those dashes immediately. That is also quickness burned by Buzz Lightyear.
Yeah.
So one engage option down, and it's really one of the main consistent ones that they've had.
Oh, the Ash arrow.
I do believe just went wide.
I feel like I was more hyped for that when going over than actually cleaning someone. It just went by really quickly.
Yeah, Shix continuing to try to trade with this Gnar. It's just feeling like he chases down real hard, but then loses more damage than he does on the way back out.
Feels like he's really confident in his ability to out heal the damage from the Gnar, and he has had some good heals. But more times than less, it feels like it doesn't matter that much. Gnar teleported into the mid lane, so now they have teleport advantage.
Yeah, Baron was a threat. They needed to have Gnar up there. I think really, honestly, the bigger issue is just the fact that, yeah, if Shix can stay on the Gnar, that's a fight Volibear will be able to out-sustain. It's just sticking to the Gnar is really the problem. Shix gonna get run down a little bit here. Q-Slow hits. Yeah, that's just the damage that you could just see here. Ultimate used. And that's another tool down. MYNT trying to burn out what they can.
Yeah, losing that ultimate out before the fight can be a difference maker, thinking about the future fight. Does have teleport so he can join in, but right now control over on the bot side in favor of MYNT Gaming for this crucial last dragon fight. They can rush it, actually.
Definitely can. They're burning it down to half health. Ash is going to see this one flash over, and they're not going to get it. It's Gnar that picks it up. Maokai ult is going to root people in place, but there's no way to get out for Meme Lord. He's going to continue to try and stay alive. Alcerol going over the wall now, trying to hit the Gnar into the wall. As Squid Demon goes over the wall, the charm Kermit able to stay alive, flashes over the wall. Ash ult to try and get back out. Gale Force flash. Kermit actually picks up the kill on the Ari, but I think it's just going to go down afterwards. Uses the shield already. Doesn't actually get the to block anything, rather, with it as a Mox flashes over the wall, afraid of this Vex. to the core of his very being. And it is a one fight for Mint here.
Yeah, they forced it out really, really well. And thanks to the fact that the Maokai does flash in with no one's help. Oh, wait,
Uh-oh.
Gragas.
Yeah, hello, Bear.
Should be fine.
He's going
I
to be goodbye,
think.
Bear, here if he's not careful. Continuing to get run down. This is the power
He's
that Ash
low.
can do. Ghost is used.
He's
They're
still
going to
running.
continue running down. This isn't even Shirelia's on the
Wait, Amox is
Melia.
dead.
Yeah, that's just a dead Zion. That's going to reset the ghost timer a little bit. Just continue to run down. The dash will provide at least enough. Lightyear on the other side, but there's nobody here now. Here comes Alcerol, who's going to use the Gnar back. And timer was going out. Haphazardous still alive, but not for long. Will go down now as Gnar picks that kill up. Halasso just going to kick him away. Holy moly. Just very deep dive from Haphazardous and pays the price for it. We're not done yet, though. There is the Shirelia's pop to try and start the fight. TP coming in. And there goes Vex into the backline. Alcerol gets the Melio, but at what cost? Squid Demon is going to go down after Buzz Lightyear has already fallen. Alcerol is here, but he has to 1v5, and I don't think that he can. Gnar trying to run away, but he's feared back into the team. He's tanky. He's going to run away. Volibear ult used to keep on him, as that is just going to be a dead Gnar almost assuredly. Continues to run off, gets the mini now back as Shix is continuing to go forward. No more dashes. Alcerol's kiting this one out as best he can. The E not going to hit. Ashult will now hit, and that's going to be the death.
Wait.
No, it's not. Alcerol has enough tenacity. He's going to turn it around. Shix dies in the fight, and Gnar lives.
Okay, Amox is able to survive there, but that is one of the biggest BS I think I've seen in a while. That shouldn't have worked out that well for Alcerol, but he's able to run away and survive. The lack of commitment, maybe thinking too hard that Shixis was going to be able to close it out at the end, buys them back. And even though it looked like, because of the multiple fights we've had, Baron was going to be taken at any point, it's still up. Nobody has been able to go for it because everyone has died at least once at this point. Well, except for Alcerol.
Yeah, I mean, what is better than just having the split push Gnar continue to do split push Gnar things? It is, we're hitting a similar point where it's like Alcerol wants to be there for the fights, but at the same time, he's just split pushing. He is beating Shix out so very well that you almost want to let him split push too. And at the very least, Gnar can split push a good deal better than the Malphite could.
100%. He's finding way more value, and it's really showing on what he's able to accomplish down on the bot side. If the Ashe was there helping the Bolivar to try and get the kill, I think they probably are able to run him down because of the slows. But because it's just the Bolivar going for the play, it's just really difficult for Ada to actually work out that well. And since they are now kind of in a spot where they have to respond to the Gnar, but also try and stop them from going for Baron or anything like that, it's looking quite positive now for the side of MYNT. Actually even have a lead on their favor.
Yeah. I'm also interested here, the Locket pickup from the Melio rather than the Shirelias. If there's one thing that Melio can do, it is abuse the hell out of Shirelias. So I'm a little surprised to see the Locket, especially because we're not looking at a team that really wants to team fight super hard. They're very much looking more for picks.
Nope.
So you see now Shix as well getting into a fight, but might just be bait. Ashhold is not going to hit thanks to the jump. Alcerol continuing to do his job, and it means that they can't threaten the Baron. Everybody backed to stop the Gnar, and Baron control's going to go back over to MYNT.
But with Soul spawning soon, probably they want to try and play around it. Baron going to be started though. Oswald is still doing so much damage there.
No,
Easy though,
Shix
actually.
Just can't get on him. Yeah, here comes the rest of the team. But that is just going to be the Baron giving up. Shix might even die in this trade. Alcerol, nope, gonna get hit by the root. Shix, you got to be careful here, buddy. Alcerol does get the evolve, does go mega, does go down though. And Baron's just going to be picked up on the opposite side of the map. This is what you do with the split push. Dragon Soul, like you said, Dragon has spawned, and MYNT just might be losing the Ocean Soul for this, which long-term might not be the trade you want to make.
Yeah, actually, I think giving up Baron for Gnar and the Soul is better for the side of IDK, because the one that is going to make the most use out of this Baron is probably Gnar, and he's dead, so he's not going to get it. And now you also lost the Soul. going to be quite good for the side of Min. They lost a turret that they more than likely were going to lose eventually, especially if the Nara is the one that split pushes. So at the end of the day, I think positive trade for IDK. Gold doesn't show it, but I think in the context of the game, it's more positive for them.
Absolutely. It's also the Baron is going to end at some point.
Yeah.
That all of that you won outside the gold from the Baron, not going to mean anything. It is technically a gold lead for Mint, but so much of it is on the Gnar that it's like you can't fight. You can't team fight. You just have to hope Gnar can win the game for you. And it hasn't worked out yet.
He's
It
been
looks
doing a
like
good job at that, but
he's
it's
been doing a good
not yet
job.
at the point. Yeah, but it's not yet at the point like you're pointing out.
Yeah, it's going to be really difficult. Baron, well, at the very least, if you answer the Gnar, Baron minions will clean up your base pretty quickly. As Haphazardous tries to clear out this mid lane, but that mid tower is going to go down. It is just the inhibitor towers for I don't know. Tier 2s, even a tier 1 still up for Mint
Oh,
here. Cleanse used. Kermit has the opportunity to take the ult. Does not look like he's going to take that. Buzzlightyear just going to get spotted out here. Alcivar coming around on the side, and the charm hits onto Halasso. He's alone from his
one
team, and he's
down.
not going to get back to them. He's going to go down. Gragas ult going to push Kermit over to the side. Alcivar trying to go in. Shix going to hold the line here and make sure that they don't lose more members, but the tower's going down soon. Alcivar taking about half health.
Late
Haphazardous going
puller.
in. Has to flash away from the Featherstorm. Will not go down. Tower stays alive for now as they're trying to get this cannon minion down. Next wave, though, might
Wait,
go big.
Nar?
There is a big Gnarl pushing them
She's
back into
dead.
the team. The knockups are going to hit, and this might be Mint Gaming's time. They win the fight. They take out another two, and the wave is going to crash. They take the tower. The inhibitor is next, and that might be the end of the game. Kermit trying to get back here. Alcivar hits the stun, but Meme Lord pushes them away. Hello Bear pushing forward, trying to get onto the Nexus towers here. They have Halasso back up.
Arro's
And
doing so
Maokai's
much
still alive.
damage.
Meme Lord going to go down. Kermit about a quarter health. Going to use that ultimate.
He
Takes
gets
down one, but doesn't take down another and will not get more resets. So it's just the Melio up for 15 seconds. Minions are coming in. They've got to hold the
Ash up
line
in
for
12.
another 10. Ash will be up soon. Melio holding on, full health, but not for very long. Charm is going to hit,
Okay,
and
that's
Melio's
game,
just going
I
to die.
think.
Now the Nexus is going to go down next. Here comes Haphazardous. He's got a 1v5, but that Gragas barrel pushes him back in. That's it. One fight is all it took. They lost every other fight, but win the one that matters, and they take us to the 1-1.
They really won for just that one fight in the mid lane. And it's funny, like IDK didn't need to do anything. Wait till Baron is down, and that's it. It's fine to lose a turret, it's fine to do anything else, but they commit to protect the turret. Melio gets picked up, and then a massive ultimate by Alceral. He really won the game. I think he single-handedly won the game by himself because that is the ultimate was the difference maker.
Yeah, a major win there. Mint just coming up big, and Alcivar once again kept them alive in game one. Basically won the game in game two. And now we're going to a game three for all the marbles. Who is going to take the win? We will have to see. But we're going to take a quick break while we get ready for that, guys. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back after this. And welcome back, everybody. We are just about to get underway for draft number 3 of the night, the final game of the night. One team is moving on, the other team is going home. We are just going to get underway. MYNT Academy back on the blue side here. So I don't know, have gone back onto the red. We'll see. I'm curious to see if we're gonna still see the Maokai come through, because I think Maokai is just a really good champion. But MYNT probably not gonna switch up their bans. It was the Azir Fiddlesticks Mordekaiser. See if I don't know change things.
I feel like we're going to see IDK making a bit more changes in that sense. Maybe not in the first base, because I do think that MYNT is going to wait for the second base to go for top lane. But we're going to see bans for top lanes a bit more focused, especially against Azrael. So far has been one of the more consistent members on the side of MYNT, and certainly one of the bigger carry threats. So I think more focus is going to go towards him.
Definitely. MYNT Academy waiting on that last ban. If the Mordekaiser will get through or not, I would assume not. I don't know is where I'm definitely looking, though. Currently, sticking with what they know, the Jinx was the final ban for them last time. MYNT really thinking about this last ban here. He's going to be the Ashe, actually. So Mordekaiser has been let through for the first time this game. MYNT Academy are on the blue side, so they do have the opportunity to take it if they feel it is just overall strong. I don't know, currently thinking about their own bans and what they want to change.
Well, it could be the ban here for the Maokai if they think it's way too strong and not allow for MYNT to take it away from them if they expect that. But Raken was played in the previous 2 games by MYNT, so could be a good opportunity for them to ban it. Instead, the Saya. So not giving away that safety ultimate that it's really easy to just stop any sort of engages from really committing onto the Saya. Did save MYNT Academy a couple of times.
Definitely did. I think it kept that bot lane from getting absolutely out of control. It does mean that the Jinx does get through, which I don't know have been banning all night long, and that is going to be the immediate first pick here. Remember, I don't know have had the Mordekaiser banned away, and that is getting through this time. Maybe you don't want to blind pick it here. And Chix also just has not had a great game, a great 2 games tonight. See if they want to put the faith in the Mord.
Yeah, the difference between the banned champions is that one is blind pickable, the other really isn't that much when you think about it, especially so early on. So probably not going to see the Mordekaiser at this point. The Tristana, it's a really interesting one to see through. Can put a lot of pressure onto the Jinx early on if it goes bot lane, and with the right pairing, you can really just rinse and repeat engages and try and make the life of this Jinx a living hell. But if it doesn't go that great and you end up getting behind, the Jinx is just going to outscale you really, really effectively.
Yeah, and it's going to be the Rakan once again. This time, though, Halasso does pick it up. So we're going to see the Rakan over on the side for I don't know. New support has to be picked here for MYNT Academy, which I'd expect they're going to take this time around. Alongside, ideally, a jungler. Maokai still available. They can take this away from I don't know.
Could be a good opportunity to steal it. And particularly, I think giving up Maokai, if it ends up going into that, against particularly the Jinx that is such a mobile carry, could be a bit risky. You can get on top of her really easily, and there's nothing as of now that can try and push them away or try and stop them from really committing to that. The Graga is the only thing right now with the cast, but Maokai can ignore that with thanks to his W. So you have to have something extra to try and protect this Jinx. Could it be the Milio? I wouldn't be against the Milio if you want to have the pairing with the Jinx. And late game, it's going to be a much stronger combo.
Ooh, Leona. Going for the Leona, which not the worst thing in the world. Does work against the Rakan. You can just Q stun Rakan and interrupt his knockup. If there's anybody that I would trust, I think, to know what counters out the Rakan, it would be Buzz Lightyear.
True.
And right now we're seeing the Vi hover. Also, not a bad pick in the slightest into something like the Jinx, and it's going to be locked in here. So they have the backline access already set up here for I don't know.
And you have the follow up with the Rakan as well. So if the buy commits, you do have the Rakan to follow up on your commitment. It can be really effective thanks to that. Tristan as well, to a certain degree, can follow up on some engages, but I don't expect to see the rocket jump used aggressively to follow up on engages. Now on to the second round of bans. It's going to be the Gnar first, understandably so. After what happened last game, doesn't surprise me to see this ban coming through. Could be the opportunity where they ban the Mordekaiser now that it's on the second round phase and they don't want to give IDK the opportunity, especially as a counter pick. If they really feel scared of it, they probably wouldn't want to give it up at this point.
We'll see. Gnar taken away. I don't know, can also just take away the Malphite, force Asselroll onto something else. It's going to be the Ari, seems like, that is going to be locked in. I don't know, forcing the mid lane into a bit of a deeper pool here. Neither mid lane has been picked up. We still have your standard Syndra Victor available. You can trade that for it. Farm lanes. We'll see what both teams want to do.
I like the Bex counter last game from Kermit. It felt really effective, and it feels like if you do give the advantageous matchup to Kermit, he can really try and put not only pressure but try and carry. But now it's kind of the question of, do you prefer to give Kermit an advantage, or do you want to have Shixis be in a better spot? And it seems like they prefer to give Kermit the advantage. I like that they went for the Yorn. Consistent tank, barely going to lose any matchups, and even if he loses, he's always going to have a utility in the rest of the game. So this is almost always going to be convenient for IDK. And then you can give now Kermit, your so far best player in the series, the advantage in his matchup.
Yeah, it also just gives them a really solid front line, so you can pick something that does have a little bit less protection. MYNT Academy also not really going for backline access here. So I don't know, just really need something that can frontline and give opportunities for whatever it is going to be. The Azir obviously can't be picked up, but like you said, Ornn can survive for so gosh darn long and will provide that utility even if it does get beat down on pretty good, which against the set, probably pretty likely.
He's going to get hit in the face multiple times in the game. So probably going to have not a fun time, but so far this series he hasn't really had a fun time at all in the top lane. Nothing new so far. So there's Ornn going to still be able to do his job. The set though, not against the pick, just because there's a lot of engaged potential, and the ultimate from the set can really push these champions onto the backline and try and keep them controlled. But now the last pick, Kermit, what does he opt into? Syndra and Anivia. He played against it in the first game.
Yeah, this time gonna pick it up himself. And against the Cassiopeia, really, it's not super fun pre-6, but at the very least, once you hit 6, it's just a farm lane entirely.
You're pretty much competing to see who can push the wave faster, and more times than less, Anivia is the one that wins that. But I'm kind of guessing they're playing off the fact that you would have that MYNT Academy does have a bit more range thanks to the Jinx and the Cassiopeia. So the Anivia is going to try and make it so that if they go too far forward, you can control them and then give a space for your Bai and Rakan to get the engage going in your favor. But it's kind of risky. It's really difficult to not see this Anivia getting engaged on and dying really quickly. And if, for example, the set ultimates with the Ornn on top of the Anivia is dead. That there's almost no chance of the Anivia escaping and surviving. So it can be a really risky scenario.
Absolutely here. I'm also interested to see, this is the first time we have seen, I don't know, opt Shix into a tank. We have seen the Renekton, we have seen the Volibear. This is the first time we've seen something that has genuinely just a frontliner. You're losing lane, you're looking to have engage potential, and it's a different skill set. So we'll see if Styx can play around that a little bit better. Alcero, on the other hand, though, definitely looking to keep pressure on, and you always have that Ornn ult, or sorry, the set ult to counter out that Ornn ultimate.
It's going to be a fun mini game between the two top laners to see who can get the better out of the other, if the set is going to be able to cancel out the ultimate from the Ornn, or if the Ornn is going to be able to make the most out of his ultimate, because there's no one to also cancel, like block out Ornn's ultimate. So the mini game between the two of them is going to be fun. But so far, I feel like I'm more willing to give the benefit to Alcero just because of how he's been playing. And it feels like if someone is going to pull it off, it's him.
Absolutely. Mid lane, obviously looking to be mostly a farm lane. We do have some pretty active junglers though, and that mid lane can look a little juicy if you aren't warding correctly, especially when you have something like the Vi. Vi can snowball out of control, and Cassiopeia is a good option to target.
The miasma can make it so that it's a bit difficult to get on top of her, but if, like you're pointing out, the Vi gets ahead, it's really easy to kill some of these targets. And the point and click ultimate from the Vi to lock down these champions is going to be amazing, especially against Jinx and Cassiopeia that barely have any mobility. The utility is just so high. And on the lanes, like we kind of focused a bit on the mid lane because of how the matchups were going in the previous games. But looking at bot lane once again, you have the Tristana Rakan combo here. If any champion from the side of MYNT get engaged on by the Rakan, and the Tristana is able to jump on top of them and get a good combo, that champion may be below half health really early on.
Definitely. Looking at our bot side here, obviously Tristana, known for being a little bit of a lane bully here, can jump in at any moment. But when you're going up against a Leona, it's a little bit difficult to make that work out. Rakan, very similar in that he wants to throw himself into the fight, but once again, just really hard to manage when you have something that can turn things around so heavily. And Gragas showing up gives an opportunity for this bot lane to go aggro for, I think, honestly, the first time this series.
Has it really been the first time in the series?
I mean, I'm looking at it here. It was Ezreal Rakan in game one. It was the Xayah Rakan that just didn't work out in game two. We have yet to see this bot lane win for MYNT Academy.
True. It's been they've come online later, but the start it hasn't been the best. So, well, the Jinx was banned for a reason. So maybe with this sort of more comfort champion on your side, maybe this time around it works out better for you. But she technically should lose out on the early stage of the game. There shouldn't be an advantage for them against the Tristana Rakan. And if it happens, I'd be surprised, not gonna lie.
Well, I'm going to put you on the spot here, TDS. Who are you picking here? Is it going to be I don't know, or is it going to be MYNT?
I like I don't know's composition a bit more. Like it feels more consistent in the way that they want to play the game. Like I can see holes appear in MYNT gaming in MYNT Academy's composition, and if one piece is out of place, they can just collapse completely. And I don't think the same can happen to I don't know. So I'm going to go for I don't know this time around.
Well, you heard it here first. We'll see if that comes true, or if we're going to see an upset from MYNT, who can take themselves to the next stage of these playoffs right after this break. And welcome back, everybody. Final game has been Tabby back onto the blue side. I don't know, on the red. Sorry, I mixed that up a little bit. It is, no, it is, I had it right. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, mint, blue, IDK red. It's okay because they didn't go for any level ones this time around. It's the typical staring contest on both sides, and they are not going to try and go for much. Kind of sad, but understandable. There's not like a lot of good level ones to actually commit at this point in the game, so probably not going to see much happening. But with that in mind, just it's going to be important seeing where both youngers started because it feels like the way that both youngers start is going to benefit or affect a lot of how the game is going to go for each of the laners.
Definitely. It's just a standard start here. Both junglers starting on the bot side, looking to clear towards their top. I do want to point out a couple of interesting runes here as we do see the Hail of Blades on the Tristana, just really aggro early game opportunities with that. And the Dark Harvest on the Anivia as
Yeah,
well, looking to scale really hard.
that's actually one of the first times I've seen the Anivia go for the Dark Harvest. And I'm not against it. I like to see this sort of more of adaptation to more damage and more potential damage later on in the game. The only risk that you're running with this is that if you don't get the opportunity to stack it up accordingly, you may lose out on some consistent damage that maybe some other runes would give you.
Definitely. Both bot laners looking for the early level 2 here, haphazardous. So it is going to be Idlenose bot lane getting control. And level 2 from Tristana is just so very scary when you're Jinx.
That's exactly what they just run away and try and play away from it. You cannot give any sort of opportunities for this Tristana to jump on top of you. Same for the Rakan Wade mid.
Ooh. Yeah, Hello Bear
Insta
forcing the
flash.
flash from Kermit. Will take a little bit of damage in response, but it doesn't really matter that much. Meme Lord around to try and see if they're going to go for more. It's just going to be the back away. Set in the meantime did get a word on the red buff, so they're going to have an idea if Vi goes over there. Currently, Vi is just engaging over towards the Gragas here. Top lane also roll doing a lot. Hello Bear in a little bit of trouble here, just going to get run down. This is where Vi succeeds. She can duel. It's just going to be the dash over the wall. No summoners burned, but definitely stops the clear a little bit here for Hello Bear.
Yeah, I was ready to call out the flash having to be used because I thought that the Gragas used the body slam to get into the blue buff, but not the case. Able to run away. Luckily, not a big casualty for the side of Mint Gaming, but it's still goes to show the presence that the Vi can have early on in the game if she's able to find the Gragas in a really bad spot. The red buff has yet to be taken, and they are going to spot the Vi as soon as she hovers over there.
I mean, neither is the blue buff for
Yeah,
Gragas. They're trying to go for the
true.
Scuttle Crab, and luckily with the pressure from the set, they're going to confirm it here. Gives Hello Bear a little bit back. Ooh,
And because
engage
of
here
Vi's,
from Leona. But it's just Tristana doing what Tristana does best.
it's pretty much normal damage and normal run away from the Tristana. I was actually trying to see if the Gragas tries to rush going to the bottom lane Skullcrab, but reminding that he didn't did the blue buff, probably just wants to clear his stops at jungle and maybe try and go down there if he can, if he gets the opportunity, but not going to be his priority.
Yeah, it'll just be back to clearing shenanigans. Mid lane also just a little bit of trading back and forth, but both of these mid laners not really champions until they stack up some mana for themselves. So it's just going to be a little bit of pitter patter for nothing.
Such a sad reality of these mana hungry mid laners, but eventually we'll see them shining. Maybe has this been the quietest early game we've had so far? Like it's taking so
Uh,
long to get the first blood, and I feel like in previous games it was earlier than this.
Last game I think did take a little bit, but we did have a lot of trading
And true.
still. So I think this is the safest in terms of just possible deaths, but I think we are still on par here for, I think first blood was around 7 minutes last time.
Okay, so close enough. Maybe we were able to go over it, but it's true that this time around teams maybe taking a bit of a back foot in terms of how aggressive they go because it is elimination game for both
Yeah.
sides. whoever loses it's out. So it's understandable their caution in some of the situations.
Yeah, you don't want to be the reason that the team goes out. It's just going to mean we're going to be chilling out for a little bit here. Dragon is up, but I don't think either bot lane really looking to go for it that much. House overall continuing to push forward here, but mid lane getting a lot of damage. Hello Bear going to get in onto this gank, and it's just going to be the Anivia going down. There's our first blood going to Squid Demon. And that's a Cassiopeia who's going to start to get off the ground. She can snowball so heavily.
Before 7 minutes, and have to say, I think because I wasn't able to catch it quite as it happened, but I think Cassiopeia flashed as she turned level 6 and was able to force the engage immediately so that they could commit onto the Anivia that had no flash. Really good decision making there by Squid Demon, forces the kill really effectively, and it turns into the first blood. I think for the first time in the series, Squid Demon winning against Kermit the Pug in that sense and getting an advantage over him.
Yeah, definitely has been a rough series for Squid Demon. And Kermit has looked really good, but this is exactly when you can abuse it. The Anivia, just at the level 6 point now, really does want to wait and scale. Getting in her face early will change things. Top lane, just a little bit of back and forth here. Warren should eventually here hit a point where he is not terribly worried about the set anymore.
Funnily enough, it's nothing we haven't seen before. Ooh. Just a couple of just a bit of trading there. Oh, the gank here, maybe?
Yeah, gonna hit the ult. Gonna go in now next. Can get the knock up, and here comes Vi to follow up. The shield already burned, and Alceral trying to back away. No ult from the Vi, so he is going to get back to the tower. Not even worried about it.
Interestingly enough, Alceral doesn't have flash. Probably got forced out of it, maybe overcommitting in a certain engage. But even without the flash, isn't scared, is able to run away. And the ultimate, as soon as it's back up, maybe he goes and looks for a play potentially. Especially with no Warren ultimate, you do want to try and play around it.
We're going back for a gank here. Vi is here, but keep in mind, this is still level 5. Hello Bear is level 6. Not going to try and go for the cask. Just going to be the back off. Bot lane Jinx has also been pretty okay here. Gets the back, gets tier 2 boots already. And it's just going to be a pretty easy lane here. No real threats to this Jinx yet.
Exactly. The threat of the Tristana and the Rakan hasn't really been felt at all so far. And to a certain degree, it's because of how well both the Jinx and the Leona have been playing around it. They haven't put themselves in a spot where it's really dangerous for them to fall victim to either of these champions. But it's also because we haven't really seen a huge amount of commitment from the Rakan. He's been moving around much more so than staying down in bot lane. And I think that it takes away from the pressure that this Tristana can have.
Definitely. Hello Bear is around. I think they might be waiting for the level 6 on this Leona. Just pings it now. Vi not far off from the vicinity here. Ward is going to see Hello Bear here. Vi still not on vision. I think will get spotted here in the Dragon Pit. Kermit able to trade a little bit better here as Squid Demon burning through the mana in the mid lane.
Going to be able to clear this wave pretty easily, but not going to away Squid Demon.
Oh, if that stun had hit, that might have been a death. It might be a death anywhere. Good stun. Ult. No, not going to come through for Meme Lord, who will just back away from under the tower. Ultimate used by Alceral as well. So 2 ultimates used very defensively for MYNT.
Yeah, but one does blow the flash off of the buy. So at the very least, that's a small victory for Squid Demon. May lose a bit of farm in the mid lane, but I think those sort of advantages are the ones that you have to be proud that they could work out. Hellbear taking a lot of damage. Kermit the Pug is showing that he does have a good prowess on this Anivia, but the issue is that he died really early on, so hasn't had the best opportunity to make use of it.
Yeah, dash away here. Good jump away from the Jinx traps for Halasso. Oh. Hello Bear. Gonna walk over.
Nice, really low.
Now engage coming in. No jump here. Flash used. Jump finally gets used, but it's going to be a death already. Tristana goes down. It's a double kill going to the Gragas. A box going to force the flash from Halasso. And that's going to be a Dragon 3-0 right now in favor of Mint. The first time we've really seen them have an early game.
That was such a good engage coming in from Maine. And like you're pointing out, we haven't seen much from them in the early stages of the game in the previous games, but this time around, they are delivering with aggression, with really good play, and committing in places that they know they can commit. Great Leona engage, great Cask as well to push back the Vi to get the extra kill. And lucky that the Jinx is not the one that gets at least one of those kills to try and keep her spiraling forward. But beggars can be choosers. She does get value, and they get the dragon out of that anyway. And I think she's going to go static shift.
It does seem like that's possible here. Also, we're flashing forward here, trying to go for this. I don't think you're going to kill this Ord here. No ult even. Also, we're maybe getting a little bit too aggressive. Rift Herald going to be used, though, for the plates. So also roll gonna just continue pressure here. Look at the farm difference and just looking at the gold in the top lane. Once again, it is 41k or 4100 to 2900 for the side of the Ornn. So that's really gonna come into this mid game a lot stronger than this Ornn will.
Top lane always seems to be, unluckily for the side of IDK, in a bit of a deficit, so it does make a good difference for them. Good damage. They're not going to turn too much, but good damage. And looking at potential mid game fights with Herald taken down before in one of the previous skirmishes, what else can they look forward to at this point? It has to be the next dragon, pretty much.
Definitely. I mean, the thing is, Mint do have a composition that can hit a really strong mid game here. Cassiopeia has already had a pretty solid start with the help of the Gragas, and Mox will eventually start to out damage and outrange this Tristana. We're getting another engage. Halasso going to jump over the wall, but the follow from Buzzlit, not going to have the Jinx to help, but trying to get the kill so very close. Jinx ult going to get blocked by Haphazardous. I don't even know if that was intentional, but it looked real cool.
I kind of think that the explosion was going to be more dangerous than the rocket hitting the Rakan. It felt like it was a bit more to the side. What I'm more surprised though is that Amox didn't send that as soon as the Leona went over the wall. If you just send it as soon as the Leona goes for the stun, you probably get the kill. But luckily Rakan doesn't die, and Al's no flash.
Yeah, now in a little bit of trouble. Knockup's going to hit. I think the shield already used as well. The Vial going to get hit. Almost goes down, but Meme Lord picks up the kill. 2 ultimates used, but at the very least, a set going down.
And that's what happens when you commit your flash that aggressively against an Ornn, where it's really difficult for it to actually turn into anything positive. They punish Azrael in the top lane. They get a counter kill finally, and it goes to the buy, someone that desperately needed the gold.
Yeah, hopefully this will mean Vi does get close. There is the quickness used, followed with the stun. Easy kill. Kermit picks up a kill. And all of a sudden, I don't know, starting to get back to where they have been. Also, just going to jump over the wall. I don't know, have finally seen a little bit of signs of life in this game. And especially getting Anivia a kill here will snowball her just a little bit faster.
Accommodating the goal where it needs to go, giving it to the Vi, giving it to the Nivea are really good signs for the side of IDK. They're still behind in gold by 2,000 gold, so obviously they still need to do some work, but they are doing really good things already. And I want to give props to how Helazo and Kermit played that, because they waited until the Leona was at least far away enough that they could commit for the engage, and then they go and kill Squid Demon really effectively. They didn't even give time for the Cassiopeia to flash away.
Yeah, very good layering by, I don't know, Buzz just hanging out in the bush, waiting for his chance. Yeah, I've seen a little bit of a lane swap as it is Kermit up on the top side with Alice. As now a fight breaks out. Meme Lord goes in. They've separated the AD carry and the support, and Amox will lose out on the health trade. Does back a little bit in here. Squid Demon now on the side, trying to turn this one around. The flash over, trying to get in on this Cassiopeia, and have succeeded now. She's jumping away, going into the waiting arms of an Ornn, and Haphazardous is going to pick up that kill, and we've evened the kills 3-3 now.
Yeah, now they are going to go back to their lane swap with a teleport onto the top lane from the Ornn. But the play overall to try and collapse onto the Cassiopeia, not a bad choice. Oh, once again, jumping in.
Yeah, ult though from the Leona, got a hit cleanse a little bit late, but haphazardous will get out.
Run,
Heliso is
Helaso.
now going over the E
Oh, the
flash
body
from
bomb.
Hello Bear, putting them into the ground, and it's a double kill for Gragas again. A Mox picks up another one, and that is going to be another dragon going to MYNT. Once again, just the Gragas play in these team fights has been insane.
That is one hell of a body slam. Getting two people and killing them on the spot with that. Really well done by Hellobird. Like you're pointing out, the Gragas finding so much value, and it's been their favorite pick so far in the series. They've gone for it countless times. Oh, Oswald?
Yeah, Alcerol, maybe not happy about that one. Flashing over the wall, I think will survive. Partially just due to the fact that Set has so much health regen. I think any other champion's probably dead at that point.
Yeah, I think the burn does kill any other champion at that point. So health regen coming in clutch there for the set. But Kermit showcasing that later on he's going to not only have the damage to kill people, but he will be able to close it out with more items. So it's going to be scarier with this Anivia in the game.
Definitely. And I want to point out just itemization for these champions going down for MYNT. It is Blade of the Ruin King on the set. It is Night Harvester on the Gragas. The only tank that you have is this Leona with the Evan Shroud. That is not as much frontline as you would ideally like to have for something like a Jinx. You've got to make the pop happen, and you've got to get her resets very early in these fights.
Exactly. It's the best way to try and make the Jinx have as much value as possible. And maybe later on the game, when you get super later on,
Ooh.
Hazardous.
Yeah, this might be a little bit of trouble. Jinx ult gonna miss here.
Has to flash.
Hazardous is so low though. Flash is out, so we'll stay alive as we're back up on this Rift Herald. Ornn ult used, gonna hit onto Squid Demon, who's gonna get followed up by
Gets two.
Heliso, and that's just gonna be a dead Cassiopeia. The ult hits, but that's it. Now Kermit trying to kite out the fight from Alcelvrol. They're turning back around. The front line has come back to Peel, and they're trying to take down this set. The
Oh,
Vi
Kermit is
ult
fine.
will get it. It is also the Rift Herald going to the Vi. Heliso almost gone, but Hello Bear cannot pick up the kill. Jinx, though, gets a tower on the bot side, which at the very least is a trade in some way, shape, or form.
Getting a turret back, especially with this Herald at this point in the game, you're not going to get the most value because it's just the Herald post plates. So you're going to get a turret anyway, but the one that the Jinx gets, like you're pointing out, going to equal out to a certain degree the gold deficit that you would lose with that Herald. That being said, winning with those skills is quite important for the side of IDK, closing out on the gold deficit, getting kills on important targets. And I'm really glad that the Ornn is not taking any of those because you need them on your carries. You need them on the buy to try and have more damage for killing Cassiopeia and Jinx, and also on the Anivia, which I think got a kill in that play.
I do believe you are right on that one. Mox also starting to hit breakpoints right now. We have got the Storm Razor. We're halfway to our next item here. And it is also just a lot of farm on this Jinx. Most farm in the game has been able to stay alive and has not died yet this game. That's a huge win for MYNT Gaming. They've just got to be able to capitalize on it in these fights.
And I think it's a good show of the comfort we were talking about at the start with the Jinx being open. The fact that Amox is playing so relaxed with this champion, so comfortably, being able to get as much farm as possible, becoming slowly but surely a threat for the later stages of the game, and probably going to find a lot of value if he's able to.
It's also interesting, as we do have the Leona, not going to hit the E. Slow does hit, but that's a huge barrel.
Perfect.
Hello, Bear, taking them back into the team, and a Mox gets a kill here. Another kill for the Jinx. That'll hopefully push them into a point where they can start to go for these towers, crack open the bases a little bit, and start to get some of that gold that has been standing around more into their pockets.
It's going to be a lot of gold that they are going to get. Mimblord getting engaged here, more than likely not going to die just because he's way too close to his own turrets, but it's still going to take quite a bit of damage, and I think he lost out on some of those birds.
Definitely. I was going to bring up the point here of the set not really having the game. This is the first game we've seen Alceval not kind of just taking over, right? The whole
Yep.
thing that we have seen from Mint has been Alceval just hard carrying. Game 1 was beating out that Renekton real bad. Didn't work out. Game 2, the Nars were massive in the fights and ended up picking up a win. This time, 0-2 on the set, and it hasn't really had an impact in any fights.
It feels really weird, like you're pointing out, the fact that the most consistent factor so far for Mid hasn't really been present this game. And it's the story, the story of the series so far was Azrael was really, really great. And then on the other side, it wasn't that big. Wait a sec though, Hello Bear is going to be fine.
Yeah. But it
Ooh.
does push him a little bit away from the dragon. Alceral is in.
Well, he's
There's
alone.
nobody here to help. Jinx ult going to be used, but it's not going to hit anything. Flash over the wall.
He
Alceral
escapes.
stays alive. But look at the damage that was done. He stays alive, and he forces 2 people out of the fight. TP is going to be used from Shix, so they have at least the front line. But the dragon has already been started by Mint Gaming. Ornal is going to get used, but they don't have a way into the fight. A good knock-up, but no fight to be had, and it is just going to be the 3rd dragon soul point to Mint Gaming.
Set pulling off the old switcheroo. They think they are stuck in there with you, but they actually are going to get more damage than themselves. And the set escapes. So securing that dragon, it's also Hextech's soul point. The best, I think, to me, it's the best soul in the game. I'm not sure if you think the same or not, but at the very least, it's top 3 souls, and it's going to be so much value, particularly for this Jinx. We're talking about building static shift, but she doesn't need to build static shift if she gets Hextech Soul. That is going to be so much value for later on in the game, and they clearly are showing that they can try and win those fights if this Jinx is in a really good spot.
Yeah. Counterpoint, Static Shiv and Hextech Soul.
Fair enough. Actually, I don't think I've seen it, so I'm kind of intrigued in seeing it at one point.
Yeah.
Maybe someday.
Yeah, and just look at the set. Oh no, the traps hold him in
no.
place. The immediate cleanse flash, but it's going to cost the Ricard his life. Kermit going forward. Flash, the Q does not hit, but the burn is going to be enough. The ult will kill, and it is a solo kill for Kermit onto Alceral as the mid lane tower goes down for, I don't know, Shix holding onto the top side against Squid Demon. This mid lane is kind of falling apart here.
It really is. With no Tristana, she had to back this. Is going to be 100% the second turret as well. So much gold value for this Jinx, and it's slowly but surely becoming a big issue. 1,300 gold at hand, so she's going to back and complete her mythic. And for the next dragon fight, I expect her to be even stronger than she is at this point. Hello Bear as well. 5-0-3. We haven't touched much on the jungler from Mint Gaming, but he's had such a performance so far. Not only the gold deficit, the CS lead that he has, but also the kill lead in his favor with 2 items completed, and also the stacks on the Dark Seal.
Definitely. It's looking a little rough here as we do close in. Baron is still up, has not been contested yet, but it feels like it can go very wrong. We do have the Gale Force completed now for the Jinx, so this does now mean it's just that much harder to get onto her. Yuvi ult, she can flash Gale Force back into her team and keep herself alive with the help of her friends.
Can be a big difference maker if the Jinx is able to save herself. And also quickly wanted to point out, now that we're in the timing for Baron buff plays and Baron buff rushes, both teams have great Baron buff taking. They have Anivia and Cassiopeia respectively on each side. So those are champions that are going to melt away objectives if they are left alone to try and do so.
We'll be holding off. Mox gonna pick up a double buff here. There's also the opportunity to just go for the soul, like we talked about earlier, a minute and a half about before that starts. Alceral still just trying to hold strong against this Anivia. That is really kind of the one pivot point that it seems like, I don't know, the Anivia has definitively beaten up on this set. And I don't know if they're really going to be able to do much to change that. Leona E misses, and Kermit lives another day.
Kermit Close. Oh, wait, Hazard is, though.
Haphazardous just goes over the wall. Very low. There is the
Oh,
Leona ult. They're going to just go in. The Jinx ult just
she's
brings them
dead?
low enough, and Hello Bear gets the kill. Now, Meme Lord trying to go in will go on to the Cassiopeia.
Amox.
Good knock up, though, and that forces Amox over the wall. Hello Bear still in the
Re-engage.
backside here. Amox still stuck over the wall, but Squid Demon's doing the damage they need, and they're going to keep pushing forward. Shix cannot frontline for this, and Anivia's stuck in the passive. That's
Everyone
going
is
to be
dead.
a dead scrambled bird, and that will be maybe Baron for the side of MYNT. It depends what they want to go for here.
They are spamming on the Baron buff, so I think it's going to be the objective. And all starts on just poke, consistent damage onto Hazardous, and it turns into a team fight victory for the side of MYNT Gaming, with this Baron buff getting secured, with them being able to back as soon as possible and then move towards the Dragon. I think that we're going to see the combo of Baron and Dragon spawn really, really soon. No, Leona boss, no!
Yeah, gotta respect the Baron range there a little bit. Leona does
that
die.
mean they can now take Baron? Dragon, actually?
That does not help them take Dragon. I'll say that much.
It's true.
It is a negative effect at the very least. But Hello Bear is already here, and they will at the very least gain control of it. That's also Buzz Lightyear's first death in the game, which is probably the saddest way to have a first death. Halasso maybe trading the maybe trading 1-for-1 on that one, but does back out. 3rd health on this Rakan. No quickness yet, and they're just burning this down. They're just gonna get this, and that's the Hextech Soul started. Shix is here, but I don't think they can start the fight. Alcerol just gonna flash over the wall, stay alive, and that's a clean Dragon. Even a person down, doesn't matter.
Well, it felt like technically it was going to be a 4 before at the end, because Halasso almost died as well, honoring his partner on the other side of the reef, or his counterpart on the other side of the reef. Almost dies, doesn't die himself because the Super Mega Death Rocket was fired to the completely other direction to where the Rakan was. But with that, they collect the soul, and with this soul, I think this Jinx is already on the point where it's completely scary to face her. She can deal with almost everyone on the side of IDK. Maybe the Ornn is the only one that can survive most of her damage as of now, because there's no armor pen, but it's still so scary.
Going in, the flash over. Meme Lord just gonna hit onto the ult there, and Haphazardous should be able to pick up this kill. It's a shutdown going to the Tristana on the side lane. So now maybe we'll see an engage on the other side, and that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna see the Ornn ult. It's going to hit, but enough back away from Amox to stay alive.
Way too far away from the Jinx to try and commit even more at that point. Shixis has to be careful here how he's walking, but Amox kind of gave away the potential play. That being said though, good pick onto Alcelol. They punish the fact that this hasn't been the best game from Alcelol so far, so they are at least taking some gold back and canceling on a Baron buff. Oh no, Halasso. Okay, he's
also immediate dash back here. And we'll be backing, gonna have to stay around here because there are enough people to keep pushing this, and this is the Baron buff here. Nivea can only do so much. They will hold it off for now, and it seems like MYNT are gonna just back away. They're trying to bait this. I don't think this bait's gonna work. There's no reason to go in the jungle right now.
Red buff? Maybe they still think that the red buff is alive. Oh, Hazardous. He didn't walk far forward enough, and it didn't matter at the end. But yeah, like you're pointing out, there's no reason, because they are going to push the wave if they want to with their Baron buff. Like, Baron buff makes it so that you know that they want to push. That's kind of the thing with Baron buff. Like, that's already a given that it's going to happen. So you don't need to go away from your base, because it's going to come to you.
Yeah, it's like when there's no objectives up, baits like that just don't always work out. Alcerol over on the side, gonna take a little bit of damage, but fortunately, Haymaker just not ever in range of this Anivia, and the ult will just let Kermit reset here. Baron buff has fallen off, so not as much of an easy push, and Anivia can stall this game out a little bit longer.
Anivia is that's kind of one of the main positives of having the Anivia. Same as if you had Aurelion Sol. The stalling potential is so great to try and at least give your team a chance to win a super late game team fight. Kind of what happened in the previous game, actually. So probably how IDK would like to try and win the series.
Yeah. Elder Dragon 2.5 minutes away. That is an opportunity for either one of these teams to maybe take control and end this game. It is such a strong end game win condition, and it's such an easy objective to pick up and flip a game so heavily. So keep
Yep.
your eyes on, I don't know if they can at the very least get to this dragon pit, pick up an elder dragon. That can change this game in a hair's switch.
And we know they have the damage to be able to kill everyone on the other side because there's no true tank. So if they are able to find that, that is 100% going to matter until the later stage of the game. And even if they don't get the Elder Dragon, if they're able to still hold it long enough, the more items they got on each side, the more the Orn items are going to be valued. So if you're able to prolong it even more, you're going to have that extra value from the Orn items.
It's interesting to see that Ornt has upgraded the Rakan rather than the Tristana here.
Wait, I thought he was upgrading the Bai. He upgraded Rakan?
Yeah,
Weird
does seem
decision.
like it is the Rakan.
Maybe he misclicked. Could be.
Possibly. We'll see.
Well, soon enough, that Tristana should get her upgrade, but as of now, I'm not sure if they want to look for a fight on Meme Lord.
Oh no, Meme Lord is very much caught out here. Halasso gonna back off. Already down to low,
Look at
but
the
now
damage!
Buzzlight gonna pick up the kill, and Halasso's gonna go next. This could be the fight to end the series. Schick's gonna hit a big knockup, but can't get back to the team. It is just the two carries alive, and the E-Flash
Oh,
once again.
perfect.
Hello, Bear. Goodbye, I don't
That's
know.
it.
It is the end of the game. It is the end of the series, and MYNT went from winning 5%, it felt like, of the first two games to now winning the last game entirely, having the first strong early game that they've had all series. And they're going to take the win. They're going to send I don't know home, and they're going to move on in the playoffs.
They really used the first two games to wake themselves up, and then the last one to just win the whole series. Win in a dominant fashion to a certain degree. Really good performance in the last game. It felt like every part was working really effectively, apart from Oswald maybe, but everything else magnificent at the end of the at the last game of the series, and going to put Mint over the line and allow for them to keep going in the series, in the tournament.
Yeah, a really solid turnaround here for MYNT. And I want to, if anything, give a lot of credit to their mental fortitude, because
Agree.
it's really easy to see how bad the first game went, how rough a lot of the second game was going, and start to doubt yourself, start to say like, all right, we're kind of just done, things aren't going to work out. To be able to stay in that game and wait for the right moment to finish it off, and then come into this game saying like, we just won, it's time to send them home. A great game from MYNT, and that's not something that you see in a lot of teams. You see the tilt happen, not this time.
Yeah, the blow up from inside is much more effective typically than just turning around and going over the mental barriers of what happened in the first game and then going over and winning the series. And like you're pointing out, like the difference in the second game was really a two or three team fights that could have made the difference in that game, because for the most part it was IDK favored. But Min
Mm.
turns it around, goes into the third game with a super improved mentality thanks to the turnaround that they were able to pull off. And then it showed the domination that they could have if they have a really good game like the one he had in the third game. So full credit to them for not letting the first game affect them as much, for trusting their players, and for giving the right tools to the right members as well. Because everyone had the possibility to try and carry, and they performed in the last game with that.
Yeah, I also want to give a huge shout out to Hello Bear, who was
Same here.
clearly, I think, MVP in that last game. I don't know who I'd give MVP for a series, but Hello Bear definitely showed up in that last game. So many body slam flashes, and I was kind of skeptical of the Gragas. It didn't look great in game two, but game three, something just switched in Hello Bear, and we got the Gragas of a lifetime.
Maybe it was the Maokai. Maybe it really was the difference between playing against Maokai and playing against
Maybe.
Bai. at the end it really showcased itself. And I do agree, Helleberg had such a great game three. The series, it was Oswald until that third game. The third game kind of puts a lot of question marks on if I would give it to Oswald, but certainly he was the most consistent for the first two games, and those were kind of the harder ones or the hardest ones on the side of main gaming. So maybe I would give it to him just because he was able to keep a really good game even in tough situations.
Yeah, I mean, he is the reason why they won game two. That
Yeah,
Gnarled at the end of the game definitively just won them that game, which kept them alive. It's hard to pick one, but regardless, big congratulations to the side of Mint Gaming. Heartfelt condolences to I don't know. It has to feel really terrible to have such a strong start and have it fall apart like that. Kermit played great in every single game today, and it has to feel really bad to kind of watch that slip from your fingers.
it's really a tough thing to see happen and see how effective it was from one side to be able to pull it off like that. And we talk about mental on the side of Mint. It also could have affected the mental from IDK, right? The way that they
Mm-hmm.
lost that second game kind of puts more pressure on you. You question yourself in a lot of situations. And then we can see something similar to what happened in the third game, sadly, for IDK.
Well, all of that put aside, it will be Mint Gaming moving on, and it will be I don't know going home. That is going to be it for us tonight, though. I have been Thousand Eyes. That is TDS. Thank you guys for watching, and we will see you guys in the next match. Have a wonderful night.